us three in the middle. That's myself, my brother, and
a demon from the
fucking
nine
load. He did make us fucking load again, didn't he?
Did he?
In an attempt to
No,
create
okay, it's just
a 10th layer
start this up. Unless he's got the microphone working.
Oh.
But anyway,
until
Did he
that's
do that?
both.
This is the podcast, not D&D.
That's our younger sister. So like mum and dad's kid, and then these are our half siblings. So they're dad's kids.
Okay.
a one simple way of life.
They're older, your half siblings.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink this entire bit.
Well then, you fucked up, didn't you?
For their part
Why don't you
in
go
the
quickly get another drink?
I did. It's down there.
world left scarred. Races divided.
Bye bye.
The world has new threats.
Oh. He's got his phone with him, so he can make it live anytime he wants. Like right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right. How is everybody? Welcome to the Friday group. The technical difficulties podcast, because we're not doing the D&D session tonight.
Surprise!
Haha! No, one of our members had some family things going on. It's as far into it as I'm going to go. But you get us today. We're going to be just doing an impromptu little podcast for you guys. So, thanks for coming anyway. I have no idea what any of those previous comments say because I didn't log in time.
I can have a look.
Sec, I will check on the computer.
Please hold. Put intermission music here.
Friday group did not let you down again. It's actually Wednesday group's fault for some reason. Just tell them that.
Yes, it's always
It's always their fault.
It's always their fault.
They're trying to sabotage us.
They really are.
I could hear my friends in the intro music at the same time. I knew he did it. How's it going, Blue?
Uh-oh.
Good to see ya. What?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we're going to be just doing a regular technical difficulties podcast session. I have two guests with me today. We have
Jacobo!
and
Maddie!
we are 3/4 of the Friday group for D&D Down Under. So,
Woo, woo.
yeah. So, as is tradition, we're going to roll off to see who comes up with a topic, because we're doing this in technical difficulties style. This isn't going to be anything fancy, unless they make it something fancy. We're going to roll off and see who has to pick a topic.
I've never done
I hope you both have a topic. That did not go in there, don't count.
Go
Wait,
right.
I
should
think
we
it was
do
a
it
one.
one at a
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, just buddy. Here you go.
That's a 7.
I could do better.
Oh, well, better it means you have to pick the topic.
That's a 19.
19.
And an 8.
8.
So you get to pick the topic.
Okay.
Oh, she wanted to. That's a first.
Alright. So, I want my topics to be. So, obviously, we've chosen classes for our characters. My class is barbarian. I don't know. You're a wizard. You're a sorcerer.
Wrong.
Wait, no, you're not a sorcerer.
Warlock.
You're a warlock. That's it.
You made him choke. Anyway, continue.
What class would you choose besides that?
So, like,
If you were going to choose another class, what would you have chosen?
Okay.
And why?
Would it be the same character or
Like,
just,
what's
like,
that
just-
next character gonna be?
It could be the
Or-
same character. Like, if you imagine your character different, what class would you choose?
I imagine this character being exactly what he is.
A
Based,
wizard.
yeah, because I wanted to play an enchantment wizard
Yeah.
because I like their little gimmicky ability, which I haven't used yet.
Yeah. I don't really know that much about.
Yeah. So this character was always going to be a wizard.
Mm.
I based all of my characters around a like some kind of theme, and
Yeah.
this one was I wanted to play around with the enchantment wizard, so I built the character around being the class.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's pretty much the same for my character as the concept was built before the character.
Okay.
So if I change the concept, the character would have to be different too. It was just how I ended up creating it. And if you switch it from warlock to wizard, it doesn't make as much sense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, how about you?
I was actually in between being obviously a barbarian or a monk.
Okay,
I
interesting.
never, like, I think Alex, one of the boys that used to play with us,
Yeah.
he had a monk
Yep.
last campaign. And that was really interesting. And I was on a real big toss-up of whether I wanted to be a barbarian or a monk, but ultimately ended up with the barbarian.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you create a character around a concept of the character's personality
Yeah.
and then add a class to it.
Well, I actually kind of think of the backstory before I even, like,
Okay.
choose a class. Like,
So we
well,
know...
the first thing I come up with is the name.
Okay.
The name has to be band related.
So we know a little bit about your backstory based on the conversation that you had with the Lord.
Yeah.
How would your backstory have had to have changed if you were going to be a monk instead of barbarian?
That's a great question.
This is your topic.
One that I didn't really think about. I don't know.
Congratulations, you played
I
yourself.
don't know. I feel like monks are in the sense of still being pretty badass because you literally use your fists as weapons. Like, barbarians can, not as hard, but monks can full on just go up there and, like, just chop you down. Like, I still thought that even though if she was going to be a monk, it wouldn't have been that much of a difference because I still wanted a badass character.
Okay.
So, but I really enjoyed the thought of a barbarian, especially watching Jacob and Dylan play one last campaign, and I was just like, you know what?
So
I'll
you're
save the
trying to
monk for
say
another
your
time.
last character wasn't badass?
She was, but she
Because she wasn't one of those classes, so...
No, she was a bard, so she wasn't really able, and because there was 2 barbarians in my group, I was more like the spellcaster of the group, so I kind of stayed out, even though I had an incredible AC and I was pretty bulk for a bard. I didn't really get into the action that much.
Okay, so was it damage output, or was it... Because I know that barbarians are really good at tanking damage.
Yeah.
Obviously, when in rage, they have any non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, slashing damage they do.
I think
and then they can get additional things depending on what else you do.
Subclass that just
Yeah.
further into
So is it the ability to take damage that you really like, or is it the ability to dish out damage?
I think it's a little
Like,
bit of
for these
both.
characters
I think,
specifically.
yeah, because like you can obviously hit hard.
Yeah.
But if you can't take that much, then it's kind of like a one-hit wonder. Then boom, pow. All right, peace. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm gonna run away. I like the fact that I can take big hits,
Yeah.
but also give them back.
So is that why you settled on the barbarian, because they take the half damage?
Yeah.
Rather than having a monk that can get in, do some,
Mad
some
damage.
pretty crazy shit.
Yeah.
Especially considering all of the ways that they can use their key to
Oh yeah.
essentially crowd control, depending on what you're trying to use. But they kind of want to get in, get out. Otherwise they
They're
take
quite
any attacks they do hit is gonna chip them down a lot quicker than if you're playing barbarian.
Well, when I imagined my character, I just saw her as like she's just gonna get into the brute in the fight, and if she gets hit, then she gets hit. But you'd be damn sure that she's gonna be hitting harder.
Okay.
So I think just barbarian just suited her a lot perfect.
Okay. Cool.
the classic make it count.
Make it count.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care if I go down, just as long as I'm the last one standing.
Oh well, we'll see how that goes later on.
Yeah.
As the campaign progresses, because as you know, you do get potentially the ability to resist a whole lot more damage.
I know.
But are you necessarily going to be the last one standing all the time?
No, I think that would be
So-
completely ignorant of me to say that.
Okay.
Let's
Fair enough. Do you know where you're going to be taking this character? Have you planned it out that far, or are you waiting until you get into the next level to decide that?
I'm not really sure what I want to do for my subclass yet.
Mhm.
As I said, like, there were 2 barbarians, but they chose very different subclasses
Yes.
from themselves.
We got some music
So-
going.
Yay!
So they kind of inspire. I haven't really looked into it that much, but I want to base my subclass on just kind of what's makes sense for my character
Yep.
story-wise.
Yeah,
Like,
The story of the story.
yeah.
Like, even if you don't want to give it away here, like, do you think you know what you're going to go into? Or
I think
is it still a decision to be made?
I have an idea. I'm more
Yeah.
I kind of told Blake what my backstory was,
Yeah.
and it is quite mysterious to me as well, because
Yeah.
I kind of said to him, this is kind of what I was thinking. You're the DM. Your stories are always amazing. So you just take me on the ride with you. You
Yeah.
tell me the information that I need to know at the time or before we start a particular
And you're
session.
fighting.
Yeah. and then I'll just go with the flow. Like, I know where my outcome and what my goal is in this campaign.
Yep.
I obviously have like something that I want to do, like you guys. Like, you
Yeah,
have like
yeah.
a further. You know what you want to do within the campaign. Whatever happens in between then and when you complete your mission, in a sense,
Yeah.
is really
Yeah, of
up
course.
to the Blake,
Up
The
the
that
Blake.
DM and
The
the
Blake, that's
characters
what he's
and
called.
all of that. Yeah.
Because and so I asked that because the characters that we've both chosen, we play two of the races that actually get classes that get their subclass before level 3.
Yeah.
So of everyone, I believe that you and Dylan are the only two from our group that need to wait till level 3 to get your subclass, and then in the other group, I think everyone has to wait. I think everyone's got a level 3
'Cause
class.
what is that?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, it's Fighter, Paladin, Druid, and Rogue.
You are correct.
Fighter, Paladin,
Druid, and
Druid,
Rogue.
and Rogue.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that they all choose a level 3.
I mean, I don't know. I've only ever played a bard and a.
I'm
barbarian,
fairly
so-
certain. Like I'm like 99% sure.
It's usually the status quo. of
Yeah,
classes.
because it's very uncommon as far as classes go to get your subclass before level 3.
But if you're
Wizards
like-
get it at level 2 for some weird reason. I don't understand why.
Do you think maybe because like it kind of gives you like training wheels level 2? You're like, hey, this cool shit you can do,
Not
kind
really.
of. And then do you get like more choices at 3rd level, or is
No. So
oh,
so
you
it,
get it
yeah, basically there's no subclass.
yeah.
Yeah, we just choose it early for whatever reason. There's no like base class for a warlock.
Mm.
There's no base class for a cleric. I think it may just be the 2. And then wizards, for some reason, are like the odd ones out, and they get theirs at level 2.
Mm.
So I don't know why they decided to build it like that. Like they very well could have gotten it at level 3 and gotten, you know, the insert random ability at level 2 that everyone
Yeah.
sort of gets.
D&D is so mysterious, man.
I wouldn't call it mysterious. I don't know the thought process that they had with it, because it really seems like they tried to streamline everything.
Mm.
However, the cleric and the warlock, especially, they kind of need to get their subclass level 1, because the warlock makes a pact with some other worldly being,
Yeah.
and that's how they get their class. So their
So
subclass.
it wouldn't make sense for them to
That's
not
right,
have it unless they did
You
it
couldn't
during
be
the
a
campaign.
warlock and then make a pact at level 3 to decide who you're a warlock to.
Yeah.
I guess that
Otherwise,
also
the
makes
warlock-
sense story-wise as well.
Yeah, because otherwise a warlock kind of like has their own power, but then they make a deal for more power. Whereas
Which is some people would
in
just be
war,
happy.
it's they make a deal to get their power.
Yeah.
So they have to make the deal in the first place, so they have to have their subclass. And then a cleric devotes themselves to a specific god or to a
Like an
a divine
Like an entity or-
entity. It's usually a god, but the way that we do things in our games is that you don't necessarily have to follow a god per se. You can follow an ideal. So if you want to be a trickery domain cleric, you don't have to follow a god that specializes in that. You can just sort of worship, like in your own way, mischievousness or something, and it kind of would allow you to do the same thing. Same way with Paladin. So Jordan is a Paladin of Tyr. He actually follows a god.
Is
But-
it the paladin that gets their magic from?
They do. They
Yeah.
do get their magic from a god, but it's more the fact that they... it's to do with their oath, And so
Oh yeah, because if they don't follow their oath, that's when they can
they
possibly
fall
lose.
and become an oath breaker.
Yeah.
So Jordan is actually a paladin of a specific god. He follows Tyr.
Okay.
Whereas Dylan, as far as I know, or as anyone knows, doesn't follow a god per se. But his subclass that he's getting into has relevance to his backstory and trying to redeem what he's done in the past. So it can just be that my oath is to redeem myself. My oath is to get vengeance on someone who wronged me. My oath is to the natural world. Depending on what the subclass is, you can kind of have it as like a promise to yourself about this thing.
So what happens when you complete your oath? Do you lose your powers then?
No, not really.
Or is it like an oath of forever thing that you must...
It's something you continue to uphold.
Okay.
So I guess you could make a paladin that's got an oath to do a specific thing. So like, take vengeance and redemption. Like, they were the easiest ones to come up with something to say.
Yeah.
But like, if it's vengeance upon a certain person, you could fulfill your oath.
Yeah.
But at that point, you would just continue to...
Create a new oath?
I mean, it depends on the DM at that point. You might make a new oath, or you might just continue to use the power that you have accumulated over that time in like your further life after you've gotten revenge on that one particular guy that wronged you, or after you feel yourself fully exonerated for everything you've done in the past, and so your oath of redemption is fulfilled.
Yeah. It's very curious, isn't it?
Yeah. So we do run it a little bit differently to what the books say, where the books say that you should follow God. And that's just the description of what a paladin is, and the fact that they get divine powers given to them by a god. But it also just kind of shoehorns you into playing the kind of character that you might not want, but you want to be playing that class for the features you get, or for...
You don't want to play a pious knight all the
That's
time.
right. That's right. You don't always want to be playing the
Lawful stupid.
Well, lawful stupid, but like the Crusader. You don't want to, like, you know, they were holy knights of God in the Crusades. Like, that's what they followed. Like, they were essentially paladins because they were the, you know, the armored protectors that followed. That's right.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like if you look into history, that's the easiest way to say, okay, that's
kind
sort
of like
what
a paladin is.
Whereas if you go into like more medieval times, you get more fighters.
Like knights. And
Knights.
stuff like that.
Or if you go out into like unsettled lands, you'd find more barbarians, the brutes, the people that kind of don't wear armor, but they've like trained their body to withstand whatever you're going to throw at them, and they just kind of like, you know, you need to cut their arm off and they go,
That's
all right, I'm going to come at you harder.
It's
Like, it's a very barbarian thing, right?
I just imagine, like, you know, in the first movie of Shrek, when he's like in the Colosseum type thing and he's fighting, and that dude tries to hit him and he turns around and he's like,
My favorite part of that entire scene is the oh, come on, can't we settle this over a pint? No? Okay then. He
Let's
just
go!
drinks it and then just starts beating the cover of everyone. That's my favorite part of the movie.
I think that's the part. Yeah, that's the part that I was talking about.
Scottishness and
It's
surprise.
My fine.
Is there going to be a making of ReadySetRoll Oz mini-series where you go into set up the cameras, new D&D, table ideas, reasons why you chose certain equipment rather than others? I feel like that really is
Behind the scenes.
what we do with the upkeep and the podcast. That's where people can kind of put in questions, things that they want to know about, like things like why you chose certain equipment, or how is the new table going, or anything like that. And that's where we'll answer those questions.
Maybe, like, Blake could do build with me and like show how he builds the new table that he's building.
Yeah, well, he might. I mean, he has his
Like
building,
a life
his
version
building series, so
Yeah.
he might
So he
even
might even
include
include
bits and
that.
pieces of that.
Yeah.
But I feel like what this is more of a it's more of a Q&A thing. So if you were to drop the questions in, we can answer that and tell you. Or if it comes up, I'm going to go back to why you chose certain equipment rather than others. Let's say in session, we go shopping and we're given the choice between these really cool items. And you think, oh my god, you should have picked that other one. You can kind of come on and ask us within the comments of that previous video, hey, why did you choose to get the cloak of displacement when you could have gotten the boots of flying? Like, that would have been so much cooler, why'd you choose that? And then we'll kind of cover that on the next upkeep that we end up doing.
Yeah, if you write down questions, like even on our YouTube channel,
Yeah.
if you go to the actual stream, because we uploaded on the YouTube channel, and you can just put in the comments what type of questions you want us to answer, and we'll have a look at it, because upkeep is usually filmed after the stream.
Yeah.
Or even putting your questions in the stream or something, and then we'll
Yeah,
get
yeah.
Blake to look out for them.
Wherever
and
it
he
ends
can
up
write
being.
them down.
If it ends up in the stream, we'll probably just be answering it like right then, as soon as we see it.
Yeah.
Especially in the upkeep and Q&As.
Yeah, I get the whole idea behind the scenes video, but I don't know that it would be something that we can do multiple times. Is kind of where I'm going with that. When we're talking about, like, we've brought up that, we're going to be at some point building a new table. So when that ends up coming up, we can, it might be a thing that Blake ends up taking a short video of, and we can tack it onto the end of something else, rather than it just being an entire 3-hour long video of like constructing this one side of the table. I don't think that would necessarily make great content. It might end up be the kind of thing that he does for like snippets of, like, this is how I'm putting together the DM section so that I've got my different levels. And
the other thing is like, we're gonna be making a TikTok for the channel soon. So,
and where is the new table? I hadn't quite gotten there yet. It's not been made yet, but we are. It's on the way. That's really all we can say at the moment. Blake has plans drawn up for what he wants it to look like, but no work has actually been started on it yet. So that's where the table is. Sorry, I'm just answering questions.
That's okay. We're going to be making a TikTok scene for the channel, so I'm sure that we'll be uploading behind the scenes footage and some funny concepts, and maybe if you put questions down in the comments, we can do like a short video answering them.
There you go. Are you going to be running the TikTok, or?
I will be. Obviously, Blake will be having creative control of it because he doesn't trust me. But yeah, so I will be running it, but Blake will be the one choosing like what we should do. I will obviously be more in depth with the trends going along, since I am
of course.
to TikTok.
I was going to say, because I haven't heard anything about this, like about a TikTok. So I would assume
we've been wanting to do it for a while. I
Yeah.
just haven't been able to sit down with Blake and talk about the legit. Like, does he want it on my phone or does he want it on his phone? Like, we haven't really come up with the thingos yet.
The nitty-gritty details.
Yeah, the nitty-gritty details.
Fair enough.
But I think that'll be really good because it also takes us to a bigger platform where you can like put in a hashtag D&D and go out to like all the community, and will be a bigger platform to promote our Twitch channel and all of that.
It's also mean
And be connected to the community as well, because there's so many awesome people. Like, even just me looking up a little bit of D&D on TikTok, it's now in my algorithm, and there's so many different people just about like from all different walks of life. Like, it's just awesome, and
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
we definitely should be a part of that.
So free to play said that druids do get their subclass at level 2.
Oh,
So
they do.
there you go. It's druids and wizards they get at level 2, which actually makes a lot of sense because Gale has his subclass. He's already a Circle Star.
Is that
Arthur?
Arthur?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, should we... I feel like we've gotten a bit off topic.
Oh, we always do. This is literally what happens.
Should we move on to another one?
So Blue says by equipment, I mean like microphones and cameras. I noticed you have a big microphone in the middle of the table on stream. Then you went to 2 microphones. I think I saw you were using phones and cameras instead of a GoPro. So yeah, because this is an ever evolving thing that we're doing. Like we're not trying to say that we've got this down pat and we know what our entire layout's going to be, and we know what our system's going to be. We're always trying new things.
But we also
a
don't
learning
have like
process.
a monstrous budget either. Like
That's right.
We're pretty low budget
Yeah.
compared to
Oh, well.
some other. I mean, we've got like
Considering that we've just started out, we
Yeah.
started out with a lot.
yeah, but it's not as like. And if you saw behind the scenes, you'd probably be a bit like, "Oh my gosh, you guys do it like that? What the hell?"
Yeah, absolutely. But because it's just ever evolving, like yes, we originally had the 2 microphones, and that worked out initially until we realized that. So this microphone that we've got sitting here on the table was originally the one that we were using, like for the gameplay. It was sitting in the middle of the table to get all of the players, and that's gone through like 4, 5, 6 different iterations of how we've done it, and we're swapping out microphones to see if one sounds better, maybe one echoes, maybe I'm pretty sure it was this one here that ended up causing an echo because it is so sensitive that it was actually picking up Blake's voice, but so was his microphone. So it was causing an echo, but only when he spoke, because he was close enough to his microphone for it to be picking him up, which had, all of its settings lowered so that it wouldn't get anyone else. But the nature of this microphone actually just got everything in the room. So as we shuffle things around, we're getting better at figuring out what works and what doesn't. And, like I said, it's ever evolving, and we're probably going to change it 5, 6, 7 more times before we actually settle on something that we really like.
And that is like super consistent and reliable as well.
Who knows, maybe we'll find yet another one to
Yeah,
upgrade, and then the cycle continues.
yeah, 100%. All right.
Well, I'll tell you what, Blue, if you want a behind-the-scenes podcast, get onto Blake, make some comments, spam him with it, and you might just convince him to go around and do it. Because this 99% of all of this is entirely his, his ideas that he's come up with. So I think he'd be the one that could explain everything to you the best. So it'd be a video that he'd have to make. Maybe it'd be on a podcast where he comes back and we can run through things together. But get on him and tell him it's what you want.
In other words, scream at him.
Basically, yeah.
Just keep pestering. He'll do it eventually.
Keep putting comments and things. Go over to YouTube and send him comments on there until he does it. That way they stick around and he has to keep looking at them.
Do you want to go for another topic?
Sure, what else you got?
I don't have anything. That was all my thinking.
I have another question based on the topic that you come up with. Do you have any further characters that you are considering playing? Both of you.
Do you mean like...
Like character ideas for, well, let's say God forbid something happens to Hex.
No,
Do you
not
have
the
something, do you have something set up that you know that you want to play, something that you would want to add into this game?
To add to the game, I'm not sure. Because usually when creating characters, I'm going for a new experience.
Yeah, cool.
Like in this one, I explained on one of the previous podcasts that what I went for was just like pure RP and that. What I'd probably go for next is RP focused on combat, maybe.
Okay.
Where before I played Barbarian, sure, but he didn't really have much like outside of. He wasn't really.
He wasn't a very big talker.
He was not a very big talker. He was not a very smart talker.
He was not very street smart.
He was a good boy that he hit things good.
All of the
And ate
characters
people.
have been like so precious. and
I
just
can't do a
like
dick. I can't do a bad character.
it would
Well, maybe
actually
that'll be a
be
good way.
yeah,
Maybe.
But nothing hard and fast. Nothing that you're like, okay, I want to play this character, or even like this specific race and class combo. Like nothing off the top of your head that you have already decided that you want to be playing.
Well, class.
Just as a bit of a snippet.
Something that I would like to play is Rogue.
Okay.
Ooh,
Uh,
mysterious.
And other than that, I'm not too sure.
All right. Well, there you go.
Not much else has sparked the interest.
Maybe in the future, you're gonna rogue out here. Maybe.
Maybe.
What about you? Have you got another character lined up?
I do.
Yeah.
I don't know the name yet,
Yeah.
but I really want to play a gunslinger.
Okay. Interesting.
After Bang,
I feel like
I would
that-
never top it. I would never top Bang.
Oh, no one will
But-
ever top that.
Oh, no one will. It was a fantastic
You can play any
character.
class, any race,
Oh, yeah.
any kind
Nothing
of character
will
that you
ever
want.
top
No one
Bang.
will ever top that.
No, it was a brilliant character.
That's
But
an anomaly.
it looks so fun. I know it's a bit more difficult and you don't really get that much out of it, but it would be so cool.
It's
to
literally
do
bringing
Gunslinger.
guns to a fantasy game.
Hell
You can't
fuck
not have fun with
yes.
Yes, Smokey, that is in fact the Jacob Top of the World Smith. Hi, how you going, mate? So you have an idea of a class you want to do.
Yes.
Awesome. Do you have anything beyond that, or is it? Because I mean, it's come up on podcasts a lot, and I'm pretty sure it came up on the Upkeep at one point as well. I just build characters. I have like
You got, like,
17
a
different
passion.
characters that I actually want to play.
I don't really.
it. Definitely.
I
What
don't
with
know. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe it's you as well, Jacob. But when I play one particular character, I get severely emotionally attached. And if I even think about something else, it just makes me feel like I'm cheating on my character a little bit. Like I can't.
Don't get me wrong. I get really attached to my characters as well.
And I
You
understand.
know that
I do.
when my character died, my initial character Nylia died. You know that I get attached to my characters.
I know, but like,
But yeah, no, I don't know. I just have this thing where I just need to keep building stuff, and so
Yeah.
I just keep coming up with ideas.
I'm sure
So-
it's fantastic, but I
I
like
know nothing.
in my grief, I'm like,
That's totally fine. Like that's a totally okay way to do it. You don't have to have.
Two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. You don't have to have multiple characters lined up. I'm probably a bit of a freak having 17 characters ready and lined up that I could just pull out on a whim and be like, yeah, cool, look, I've got the character sheet ready. Like, I do that. I 100%, I think I have like
Sandra
4 of
just
them
dies,
on this tablet right now.
Sandra just dies, pulls out laptop. Alright, got my new character ready.
1, 2,
And immediately
3, 4, 5, 6 characters. Not including one that I wouldn't be allowed to play because he's the Warforged.
oh shit.
That's just on this tablet. I have more on my phone. I've got more on actually the phone that we're recording this on
Yeah.
because that was my old phone. It's got a bunch of characters on there.
Yeah.
I just have so much stuff that I want to play because I want to try out new things in this game.
Yeah.
But-
Bit of everything.
That's it. I eventually will get to playing every class in the game. Like that's
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe if Cash would die now, I'd be upset. But I wouldn't be as emotionally attached because, you know,
It's
We're
early
only-
in the
we're
We're
only
only
quite
this far in,
new
yeah.
into, like, we haven't even made it past, like,
10
level,
episodes.
yeah, level 3 yet. We haven't really, like, bled together as a group yet. Like, yeah, we've been introduced to our characters, but, like, and we're starting to find our cliques, how each character works to different characters, but we're not really a group, like, we're not really a family
he's
yet.
finally admitting it. We're not actually a group yet.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, we're still learning how
We
to
are,
get
we
along. We haven't even really seen the ability of Hector. I haven't
Yeah,
seen how
absolutely.
much you can do.
Yeah.
You haven't seen how much I can do.
Okay,
And Dylan, like,
two spells.
what the fuck does Dylan do at this point? Like,
All right. We have a topic from Free to Play. What is your favorite moment in D&D?
like, in this campaign or
Just
What's your
internal.
favorite moment that you've
that I've experienced?
I would assume that you've been a part of. That kind of narrows it down. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I saw this thing this one time. Like things that you've been a part of, or at least been privy to firsthand.
Oh,
Never mind. Now that I said it, I don't have to sneeze anymore. Technically, this is a question that I had last time on the podcast, and I said at that one, yeah, I was when Strix made friends with Zugboy.
oh
Yes.
no.
Good times. That was I love that, and I'll always hold that dear to my heart. And I'm just trying to think, what could be the second thing that comes to that.
All right, we'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get another memory, like another favorite memory out of you. Have you got one?
I think,
Can be this campaign, can be last campaign,
Yeah.
whatever you want it to be.
I think the last campaign, because last campaign was the first campaign I had ever played. Like,
Yeah.
I was quite new to D&D. I think once we fought and defeated the BBE, or the BBG,
Mm-hmm.
and just seeing everyone's face, like, relieved and ecstatic and excited, like, that was just such... Like, the whole adrenaline of that day, because I think we played for about 8 hours or something.
It was an 8-hour
It
session.
was an
but
8-hour
it was an
session.
8-hour fight.
It was like, that is something that I've never experienced that
Yeah.
before, and it was like a complete high at the end, and everyone was so happy, and like, yeah, it was just it's like imagination, but at the same time, you're just so emotionally and physically and mentally invested that you've played about 2.5 years to finally get to this point, and you finished,
And
and
be like,
everyone's just like, what the
We
fuck?
finished a
I know.
campaign.
I've
Yeah.
never experienced
Yeah.
anything like
Well,
it.
a lot of
and-
people don't ever finish a campaign.
No, and I like, it makes me sad because like, at first when I started playing, I was like, this is for nerds. I don't want to play it. But I actually really enjoyed it.
Congratulations,
I
now
know,
you're a nerd.
I'm a nerd, and you know, I'm fucking happy about it because it's fun. Like, it's a nice little escape, and I never thought that I would be so in love with the game.
Yep.
But I don't know, it was just like, the ending just was like so perfect, and everyone was so happy. It was just such a great bonding experience.
Alright, going off of that memory, which time are you talking about? The time where we beat him and everyone celebrated and then he came back? Or are you talking about the one where we finally actually finished it? Because there was a lot of
Yeah.
celebrating in at least 2 different
The
times in that.
first time, yeah, the first time it was the initial we did it, and then Blake looked kind of disappointed in me because I forgot to put the specific thing.
Yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know, we were fighting Grazit, and he had a backlog of souls that he could call upon and basically absorb
They
into
were like
himself.
live.
That would completely heal him and put him back, and basically start the fight again.
Yeah,
Extra
Like, we
life.
wouldn't get any of our resources back, but he would go back to full.
yeah,
And so the way that we could defeat him was either beat him, I think it was 8 times at that point. I think he had 7 souls that he could call on. I
5.
think 5. So we had to beat him 6 times. Or Maddie's crew at the time had these rods that they could essentially impale him with,
And it would sever the
and it would
tie.
sever ties.
And
But-
we managed to put him down, and I had the rod.
We had one of them.
Oh, I had one of them, but I put him down and he died, and then I totally forgot about
Yep.
the rod, so I turned around and was like, fuck yes, I did it, we did it, this is awesome! And then the music changes.
So I, outside the game, had known about these rods.
Yeah.
Like, Blake talks to me about a lot of like the campaign and what's going on and what the other groups have been doing, and kind of like bounces ideas off me. So I knew about these rods, but not in game. My character
Yeah.
knew nothing about them. So I was sitting at the table going, fucking rod in here, put the fucking rod in here. And I'm like, yeah, we did it, right? Yeah, hooray! And then my character had true sight because I had bonded. I'd like basically fused with a god,
Yeah.
and I had true sight.
Crazy, that campaign.
And
Yeah.
so, as everyone's celebrating, I'm watching them from like way over there, and then I just see next to me this soul like clawing at the ground, trying to like free themselves from what's pulling them in, and it gets pulled all the way along the ground into Grazit's own body, and he just stands up. And then you just watch the look on, it was specifically Maddie and
Dylan.
Dylan's faces. and they just went, oh, we forgot. So we had to fight him for a whole second
Yeah,
time.
we had to fight him again, which we managed to do. It was a lot harder the second time because obviously we were all kind of like.
Well, we were worn down, but
Yeah.
he also had just been beaten by us.
Yeah.
And so his tactics got a lot harder too, because he's like, oh, well,
I
they're
know
not
what
messing
you're gonna
around.
do this time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the second time when we finally beat him, I
They,
think.
they actually remembered to
wasn't
do it.
Oh no, you weren't there.
You were there.
No, you
Oh,
weren't
you
there.
were.
But yeah, once we put the rod in and we made sure that fucking rod was in,
That's when we
that was
finally
when
won.
we were like, hell yeah. We're fine now.
Do you have a second?
Well, somewhat
Memory?
bouncing off that, it did actually remind me of the first arc,
Mm.
or like the last arc, or I think it was either the first or the second of the first campaign.
Yep.
Where we all came together to not defeat Grazit, but Barracus.
Yes.
Because you remember that.
I do remember
Do you
that.
remember that?
I think I was quite early on still.
Mhm.
Probably.
I don't think I went to that fight.
So that was the one where,
I know what happens, but I wasn't
yeah,
there.
that's
for
that's
that
the one
fight.
where he had the
You guys were on
staff
the rooftop.
on the rooftop, and he like
floaty.
smacked the staff into the roof, and it
And then started
splintered the whole
collapsing.
thing, and it was all collapsing.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that particular.
Okay.
But that one went longer than Grazit.
No, I don't think it did.
Oh,
no,
it didn't?
that was nowhere near as long as
Oh,
Grazit's. It was still a very long fight.
It's like 5.
It was one of the.
Yeah.
It was a final boss of that arc,
Yeah.
and I was actually present for that one. But I remember that it was basically the same as what you were feeling for the Grazit fight. This is the first time I'd seen everyone come together in this big ass setting,
Yep.
and it was wild because we were all at these different tables because we were outside under the cover. It's like, whoa, all the different groups are at their place, and you could see how everyone's differently, like just doing their own thing.
Yep.
And then we all were fighting Barracus, and then another person went down, and another person went down, and then oh,
Barracus was one tough.
Well,
Barracus
he
was.
had magic items that just
Yeah.
like
He had
made him
magic
ridiculous.
items, He
Like,
had movement.
Yeah.
He had tactics.
yeah.
And we didn't have a lot of coordination. But
That-
the
oh,
first time
absolutely.
all the groups were meeting.
Well, that's right, because we all met up literally just before climbing the tower, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we all converged at the bottom of the tower. There was
And all up. And
barely enough room for us to speak to each other before we started.
it was your group that thought Barracus was a good guy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then all the other groups were like, nah, fuck him. And you group was like, no, he's so sweet. He's actually really nice. And then he fucked you guys over. And
And
you were
they
like,
did.
hang
And then-
on a second.
And then the Ukrainian went, whoop.
And you were like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'll give a bit more context out on
Yeah.
a bit later on. But I remember we were just putting everything into the fight, and people kept going down. My character was just injured, and instead of just going into the fray, just got medicine and just kept getting people up. I was like, get back up!
I can't do this on my own.
I'm really dead, but I'll get you back up.
That is honestly the most frantic time. It's like when you go to decide, do I run and maybe live to see another day and go back for them later, or do I try to get as many up as I can and hope I don't go
I
down in
was
the process?
In that moment, I was just hoping that, oh god, I hope this is the right decision. But yeah, eventually we did. We got through it. We killed him, and some of the characters took a lot of the loot and then retired said characters. And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, that loot's forever gone.
Was a lot of last campaign. I hope that
But
not a lot of characters die this campaign.
oh, so
Yeah.
I really hope.
Well, I mean, we've already seen that this campaign's going to be more nitty gritty than the last.
I know. I would
So
just really
if we're not
love-
careful, we are very likely to lose quite a few
Hey.
characters. I
we
think.
were doing better than my group.
I would just
Look, I nearly died too, so I can't say
Hmm?
much.
I would just really love to have a character that I started with and then finished with, because majority of last campaign's characters did do that.
No, they didn't.
I'm pretty sure.
Nope.
But isn't Nylia your original?
Yep.
Yeah.
But
I
she
know
was only
he-
there because she got brought back to life.
Yeah, I know. But what about Del?
He also got brought back to life.
Yeah, but you kind of started and
Mhm.
finished with
By
it. But
technicality,
Kat's character and you as well.
Yeah.
I think Kat's character and your character
And Dylan.
and Dylan's. Yeah, I think they were the only ones.
But wouldn't that be so like it wouldn't
And
be so sad
technically-
saying goodbye? But don't you feel
Oh.
proud at the end of it, being like,
Yeah.
yeah, look at all this shit we
Yeah.
went through, and I still kept you
Yeah.
alive.
And also, technically, they weren't all there for the entire campaign either.
No, but you ended with them.
Yeah, not the point. Like, so.
But yeah,
No, I didn't mean my own character. I meant, didn't Kat come in later? No, she was there at the very start.
she was at. I
But
came in.
You came in later, so you
But-
didn't start like when the campaign started.
No, so originally I had a
Technically, that was-
ranger.
Yeah.
too.
That was my like wanted me to have kind of an easy class.
Yeah,
Just to be introduced
yeah,
to.
of course.
And then I think
You were
like,
like, nah, fuck that, let's play a full caster.
no, I wanted to. And like I said that, I was like, I want to be a sorcerer. And Blake was like, unfortunately, I don't think there is time for me to even explain and for you to understand before you have to play in the next few days. And I was like, fine, I'll be a ranger.
Yeah.
It was super confusing at first, but I'm happy
Yeah.
that I started with a ranger because
Yeah.
it is quite a simple class compared to.
Well,
mean-
comparatively, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, just be thankful that you didn't choose like a wizard or
I
a
know.
cleric or a
I'm
druid.
so happy
Because,
Blake talked me
Like
out
those
of it.
specific classes, I think there might be another one as well. They get access to the entire spell list
A lot of spells.
like,
a lot.
from the start.
Yeah.
So when they're level 1, they have every single first level spell in their list. They just have to choose which ones they prepare every day.
And there's so like even
And
when I was playing a
It's
bard.
100% information overload.
Oh yeah. When
Yeah.
I,
So at least playing a bard, you go, okay, well, there's so many of them, you only have to really read through them once,
'Cause you can
pick out the
only
ones you
choose
want,
the
and go, well, they're my spells.
yeah.
And you go, well, cool, these are the ones that I have.
Do you remember the three that Blake always used to do to me? When I was a bard, I would be like, I'm casting this. And he's like, what does that do? And I'm like, I have no
I don't
fucking
know.
I
idea.
don't remember the
So he
specifics, but I do remember him
your
doing that.
spells. So just in the middle of the campaign, he used to just look at me if I casted a spell, and if I said I had no idea what it did, or like what range it was, or what saving
Yeah.
throw, he'd just do this, and it was read
Read
your
your
spells. So he'd just literally do this to me, and I just get on my phone and be like, it's a wisdom.
Because that's what we all do. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know all of my spells by heart. What I do is when I'm deciding which one I'm doing, I'm quickly going, and I'm pulling up the spell. I'm like, oh, okay, yes, it's 60 feet. 50 feet.
Making
Okay,
sure.
I'm like,
you know what I think it is? Yes.
yeah.
Good.
Look, I know what Eldritch Blast does by heart, alright? I used it enough times in the last campaign that I just know. But Fog Cloud, I had no idea what the actual range was when you asked me. I'm sitting there going, what is the range? Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's 60 feet. Same thing with Witch Bolt when he asked me, oh yeah, like, what does that do? I knew what the spell did. I didn't know the range, and I didn't know...
Not the specific.
I didn't know like the verbal somatic material components. I still don't know which of the three it needs.
I didn't even know that was a thing. And
Yeah.
then I think I remember last campaign they were talking about reviving some characters, and you need a diamond or something,
Yes.
or like a certain amount of gold or something like
Well,
that.
it's certain
diamond
amount of
worth
gold
a certain amount
in
of
the
gold.
form of a
A
diamond.
diamond, that's right. And I was like,
A what?
I was like,
Oh, what?
I mean, what do you mean? I can just cast spells with my mind. And Blake was like, no, with some difficult spells,
Yeah.
you actually need to gather materials.
Yeah.
And I was like,
So a lot of spells that need materials, the way that it works, I'm not sure if you know now, but there's three types of components. You have verbal, which means you need to be speaking the spell,
yeah.
which is why when people are like, oh, can I just like try and mumble it on? It doesn't really work. 'Cause you need to be using like intent and magical
Yeah.
like force
Yeah.
when you're speaking the spell, and that's why sorcerers get subtle spell.
Yeah.
Because they don't need to use the verbal. They also don't need to use the somatic. So what somatic is your hand movements. So that's when I cast Witch Bolt and I would animate or like I describe myself like
Eldritch Blast.
like
can't
crushing
believe
your hands into each other and pulling the electricity out. That's the way
And
that
then,
I'm
like-
describing the somatics of the spell.
It kind of reminds me of
Doctor Strange?
Wanda. No, like Wanda
Wonder
with the
Well,
Yeah. Well, Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like when he does all of these like hand movements, that's somatic components.
Oh,
And then there's
it's like a
material.
move.
Then there's material. So what material is obviously some spells require you to focus the magic through something.
Like
Mm.
ingredients.
Yeah, they are literally ingredients.
Food.
If it doesn't have a
In the
gold
culture.
cost, you can replace that with a magic focus. So that's the wizard's wand or a gem or a. Yeah, it's got things in the books that tells you what can be your focus.
Yeah.
So you can replace those, but if it has a gold cost, you can't replace that. So for revival spells, it always says you need this kind of a gem worth this much money, and usually it says that the spell consumes, which means that once you do it, that diamond's gone. You can't revive someone with that same diamond again.
It tends to be pretty powerful spells.
Yeah.
So that's why it has that much of cost. Like reviving, that.
Like
It
you're
costs
literally
money,
bringing
but you're
someone back from the dead. It's something that's so powerful that it literally causes your material to crumble.
Yeah.
But
Which kind of makes sense because, like, obviously, if you can just bring back anyone and everyone,
that's right.
Well,
everyone's
because of
just gonna
exchange.
die.
There's no consequences.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So if you make something that is like really big and fucked
Yeah, you need
up, then,
5,000 gold
yeah,
in the form of
they
diamond.
better
You're like,
be
oh, what?
like you must really have to have them.
That's right.
Otherwise, just make a new character.
That's right. But then there's also gold component costs that doesn't say that it uses it, and that can't be replaced by a focus either. So I'm pretty sure it was either your group or it was the third group. Someone used a spell called Chromatic Orb. It was your group. So Chromatic Orb, I happen to know, requires, I think it's a diamond specifically, worth 50 gold.
What does it do?
But it doesn't consume the spell. What it does is it focuses the spell and allows you to change your damage type, and you basically shoot a ball of energy. But the way that it works, because you need the 50 gold diamond, you basically hold this diamond up and it fires from the diamond. Because the diamond is what's creating the magic. So that's how components work. And that's why you need the monetary stuff for the higher ones. And it's not just, our ally died, I'm just gonna, spirit fingers and...
Quarter pieces!
You get the
So,
cake.
can we please get some happy birthday fishies in the chat, because it was Blake's birthday.
Yesterday.
We need some happy birthday fishies in the chat for Blake. I'm pretty sure we got a couple more comments while we were doing that. So yeah, Blake
Thank
is
you,
not
baby.
dead.
Yeah,
He just walked past. As Jordan said, he got tired of me interrupting him, and so he just left the show.
Do you want to join?
I'm free.
There you go. See. But no, Blake deals with all of the behind the scenes things. He was actually outside the room when the podcast started. That's why we're kind of sitting around just doing whatever. When it come on, like, wait, hold on, the music stopped, and we're all looking at the screen like, oh my god, no, it's starting, isn't it?
Do you want me to hold it?
So that's what Blake's doing now.
Technology.
And yes, Jordan, we are absolutely doing a podcast. So
Jordan, do you
I'm
like
sure
my
you
cup?
realise that it means that you too will probably be doing something else on Friday. Oh, Wednesday. We're Friday. Days are weird. They don't really exist. Time's a construct.
We live in a matrix.
Hey, we might. Does anyone else have anything to talk about at the moment?
Did you do your topic?
No.
Did you want to do your topic?
Hey, if Jordan's there, you don't know this yet, but welcome. You're gonna know it now because I'm calling you out. you're going to be running a Sea of Thieves one-shot next Wednesday. You're welcome.
There you go, everyone. You heard it here first. We're going to be running Sea of Thieves on Wednesday, and Jordan's going to be running it as the DM, or GM, or whatever you want to call it. So, sucks to be you for calling out the fact that you really don't want to run games.
Unless, do you want any more? I won't eat that.
Well,
I'm not eating.
I will never say no to cake.
Well, let me eat this.
Especially cheesecake.
This cake's amazing,
It's a
by the way.
special journey.
It's so good.
Mum does it so well.
So anyway, as I said, it's not an Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag one-shot. I assure you of that, Blue. It is 100% not that. It is infinitely more chaotic and infinitely more irritating. So I might come on Wednesday and play it so you can watch me losing my mind.
You trade
We'll
off.
see. What?
We're
What are you
invading.
going to do about it?
At least I think.
So does anyone else have a topic? You got one?
Was there any points in the last session that got you emotional?
There you go.
Jessica.
Well, I was losing my shit when the shit
Literally.
when the shit shopkeeper came about.
Hold on, I'm not.
Last
Oh, last campaign,
Oh.
last session
Hold on.
though.
I'm not sure if it quite picked him up. Blake asked us if there was anything in the last campaign that got us emotional.
Marcus.
So who's Marcus?
Marcus was my character's brother, whose soul got stolen by Grazit, and during the last fight, when we put Grazit down and he took the new soul, the next soul was gonna be Marcus's, and the whole point of defeating Grazit for me was to not only stop him because he was gonna take over the world, but to save my brother.
So
And he sacrificed his life.
her mistake of celebrating nearly meant that
I
her
killed my
character
brother.
nearly killed her brother.
Neil.
Inadvertently, it wouldn't have been her fault,
But
but
I knew
she
what
would
was
have been the
gonna
one that
happen.
did it. So there you go.
Alright, Jacob, you go.
Personally, it's a bit hard to pick because I love the campaign through and through. I loved every
Yeah, but
bit.
the emotion. What made you want to cry?
It didn't have to be that. It could be happy and exciting.
Uh,
No. We've
What
moved
about
on
when
from that
you
now.
like-
What made you want to cry?
Tragedy. Nothing.
What about when we
Sadness.
went back to your homeland?
That was actually what I was thinking about because Strix at this point had been he'd been traveling for a while now. It'd been at least a few months since he had gone, since he had left his home island, and during that entire time he was trying to get stronger and get people to help clear the problem, which was a necromancer from his home. And after the first group disbanded, he was feeling a bit sad, but then he found a new group. Was like, "Can you guys help me?" And you remember that?
We were like, oh yeah.
Yeah. And after a bit of time, we eventually did go back, and it was just like Strix was seeing all of his family and all what remained of his clans.
They made me shit.
And that too. Lizard folk being lizard folk, they were not the most civilized, so there was some chuckles. But it was the fact that Strix had to kill all of his fallen brothers, fallen chief, and basically all those who had died and come back.
It was really sad.
Oh damn! I'd never heard that story actually.
Yeah, that was the story.
That's actually kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was pretty hot.
Yeah.
But thanks
Fair.
to him being a lizard folk, he could suppress his emotions pretty well. But eventually, when the group finally did kill the necromancer, got rid of the problem, and went back to the clans, he was given the title of Wanderer. And shit, that was cool.
It is so sweet.
Because at this point, Strix had become basically stupidly powerful compared to the rest of the lizard folk.
High levels are awesome.
Fucking amazing, especially for barbarian. Observe as I get angry and run on air.
That's so cool when
That
you
was-
used to do that. See, that's like one of the reasons why I wanted to become barbarian.
It's
Because I was
fun.
like, you get so fucking pissed off that even gravity can't hold you down. Like,
Yeah.
you're going.
You better
And I
look
know
at the
I'm gonna
subclasses
say-
so you know which one you want to do if you want to be running on air.
But Dylan also had like a cool lightning thing, and
Yeah.
like, oh, there's just so many
You
can
cool
flavor it as much as
stuff.
you
Like,
want.
oh, it's so
Exactly
hard.
it. Yeah.
Why do we have to? Why can't we just have it all?
Well, that's why I pre-make so many characters, so that I don't like fall into the trap of accidentally making the same thing twice, because I can go back and check. Now I know that I haven't done this bit before.
It's dangerous.
It so is.
So dangerous.
It's so dangerous.
What was Oh yeah.
Because then my problem is, which one do I play next?
Yeah.
I've got so many choices.
And hopefully you don't lose attachment to the current character. It's like, man, I really want to play this character. But yeah, when Strix had completed his quest, Bell Standards, he could have just stayed behind. Because that was him done. Like, he didn't really need to go out. Sure, there was the demon threat, but... lizard folk being lizard folk. I was like, nah, bro. But eventually, to repay his debt to his friends, the party, he went along. Wasn't there for the final showdown, but it was between that he did help. And then when it all finished, and I had to think of what was he gonna do, that was probably, it had to be that was the emotional part, because what I said before, that was the context, that was the build-up. And so I had Strix go back to his people and just basically become new chief and just help his entire
Like
clan.
educate them.
Yeah, try and get them to survive better. And Strix just, I can picture him sitting down and just telling all the entire clan about his stories.
Right, story time. Everyone around the campfire.
Everyone sit down and listen to this mad tale of how I met several gods and killed some.
I'm probably
Lovely.
thinking, like, the lizard
Lovely.
people are like, yeah, this is why we don't leave the island.
Man, that was scary. But I've become more powerful and I've tasted so much meat. That was one of his things he liked to eat.
Yeah, me. I remember you and Dylan's character just with like
Dylan was a bit more
he was
civilized.
more elephant.
He loved
Civilized.
War Elephant. My character was just curious what things tasted like.
Yes.
It's like, is this a suitable food source? Yes. No. Maybe.
For
So yeah.
context, he actually ate one of the characters that turned evil in the campaign.
Who? I don't remember that. Wait, did you eat what's her face?
He
What
sure did.
oh
He was really pissed.
Azine.
Adine.
He ate it.
You ate it?
Yeah.
Was
In
that there?
front. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. In front.
I don't
Of
remember
her
that.
brother.
Her brother. Oh my god, Agan. No.
Not in front of.
Oh well.
Agan.
See, Strix and a bit of me was really
Yeah.
pissed because we was basically ran through the runner because shit went down, and I got the slow spell for the first time. Oh my god, I hate that spell! It counters barbarians spectacularly well.
It counters a lot of things spectacularly well.
Yeah, if you rely on
Do you,
movement
do
and
you know
getting
what
close,
it does to spellcasters?
what?
If they attempt to cast a spell that takes one action, they spend their entire turn preparing the spell,
Christ.
and then on their next turn they roll a d20, and I think it's on a 10 or higher, the spell goes off.
See why I hate the spell?
If it's lower, the spell doesn't go off, and they still use the slot.
That's a bit of a
So you think it hurts barbarians?
Everything.
There's a reason it's my favorite spell.
I got knocked down a peg or two during that fight.
Oh
Yeah.
you did.
I did. I went down. I thought I was just strong little bard / Azamir, and then
And then
Dean
Dean came
out.
along.
She knocked me down on my ass. I felt my.
We did win
I
though.
realized then that I was just a bard amongst barbarians. I
So,
was just-
so we kind of actually skipped past it because that was going to be the thing that I brought up for one of my favorite moments was that fight, and
I
just
mean-
watching the four of you just
Yeah.
go. You know what? That's fine. There's only two of you. We can take you, and then just the look on all of your faces as you all just started to drop one by one. And we nearly actually beat you.
You-
Just the two of us.
I'm pretty
Your
sure you
clothes.
killed me. That's how Marcus's soul was taken, because
Yes,
I
Adine did.
died,
Adine
yeah.
killed you, I'm pretty sure. I killed
and then
you,
Marcus swapped.
but you were revived.
At that point, I was the barbarian level where I was too angry to die.
Yes.
Bro.
So you were dead, but the moment your rage ended is when you stopped functioning.
Straight up, I played it that Strix was running on pure anger,
Yep.
hatred, and just spite.
Yeah.
So to continue that, he basically ate the sibling and wore their face.
Yeah.
It's just to piss them off.
It was crazy, bro.
But I will say, after that fight, I'm pretty sure you, Dylan, and I, we were shitting ourselves for the Grazit fight. Because we
Yeah.
were like, they were
One of them is still
nothing.
there.
They were
Bricks.
nothing compared to what. So I
That's
feel
right.
we didn't walk away feeling good.
But that's what I loved so much about that fight,
Yeah.
was that it kind of showed you, like, don't get cocky.
Yeah.
Like, you can
Oh,
think
yeah.
that you are the most powerful thing out there because you're
But
the high levels.
we
But
were
guess
not.
what? There's
We were
things
not.
out there
That are
that
better.
are just as powerful,
Like
if not more so.
characters, oh god.
I know.
It was
I
crazy.
literally, like, I cried. That
Oh, that was
I
fun.
literally thought I was about to die. Like,
Yeah.
my character was dead, which meant that I wasn't able to make, because Blake made a rule at a certain part of the campaign. If you die, like your character, that was it. Like,
Yeah.
you can't make a new character this far in the
Yeah.
campaign.
It
You're basically out.
was basically at the end
Yeah.
of the campaign.
It was too late to even try to
To try and add
introduce-
someone, that's
I
right.
know, it just would have been like, it didn't make sense story-wise.
Yeah.
So we all went down and we were like, oh
Bricks, my man.
God, we're not even going to be able to like come back and anything. That'll be it for like our campaign. Like that'll be us done. Our characters will just die, and
Yep.
then that's the end of our story. And
You had somebody come in.
yeah, I did have somebody come in, but
Spoiler
yeah,
alert, we lived.
Yeah, we lived.
In
we
the
were
end,
fine.
you got revived. Marcus gave you his soul,
Swap.
so it allowed you to continue on and join the Grazit fight, and
Yeah.
you got your revenge in the end.
But we were like, yeah, that was a scary section.
It
That
was.
a real scary section.
And like, I take a lot of pride in that session,
I
just
hope
based
you do,
on like
because
how we were able to show you, like,
yeah,
we can see that you are getting like starting to get really cocky,
yeah,
but like, you need to like really think about your moves carefully.
we
because-
were.
Like, I don't think we were that much higher level, but we did have like
a lot
some
of
additional
different-
aids.
Yeah,
So basically we had we had the ability to basically cast haste on ourselves. But only Adine actually did that.
yeah.
So
But I think the other thing is like, compared to like, the only spellcaster in that group was me, the bard, and we don't really have.
character also was there
Was
as a
the,
warlock.
was she?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she
Yeah.
was too.
It's actually the character that she's playing in this session.
Yeah, exactly. In this campaign. Yeah.
But it's her pre
Ne- yeah.
her pre
The necromancy.
depowered self.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's her pre depowered self.
Blake's looking at us.
What?
Backstory hasn't been set yet.
That's why I was keeping things vague. Yeah, so there were two spellcasters there.
Yeah,
Um,
I totally forgot. Is that-
yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, it did what we were trying to do with it. Thankfully, you actually did end up surviving the encounter. Because we weren't pulling our punches, but, like, if we had, like, we as the Eve characters won that fight,
Mm.
we would have been down allies in the big fight.
Yeah.
Like, that was the whole point of the session. We weren't going to pull our punches because we were going to play the characters as they were
Mm.
and not kind of like metagame it and, you know,
Yeah.
let you win.
Yeah.
But if we had annihilated you, it would have made the Grazit fight that much
Yeah.
worse.
And ironically, it would have made it
Because I'm
worse.
just been down 3 or 4
But the other group
Allies.
didn't know about the rogues either.
Well, back too.
Oh,
So
We
they
were
wouldn't
the
have-
only, we were the
There
only
you
group,
go.
we were the ones that collected the rogues.
There you
So
go.
they would have had
to fuck you know.
they would have had to like defeat Grazit like 5 or 6
5 or 6 times.
Wow.
Crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
Oh god,
Fun
man.
times, fun
Imagine
times.
imagine the dark timeline.
Absolutely. Like, that campaign could have ended so differently.
And this campaign could have started way different.
Way.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Remember
Oh
the
my God.
intro?
Yeah.
10 player? Yeah.
Well, I actually have a very different kind of memory that really kind of got me. It got me more than I thought it would.
Mm.
During the campaign, sort of early on, we made friends with the dragon. You know the dragon? Do you know the dragon?
Vaguely. I
Was it
think
Steve.
Steve, that's
yeah,
right.
you've referenced him before.
Yeah, so we made friends with the dragon, and at one point he just disappeared,
Mm.
and we had no idea where he'd gone. And
I think
my
you guys
character,
thought he died or something.
well, my character had access to the scrying spell.
Yeah.
So I scried for him and found him on the bottom of the lake. Like, he looked like he was dead. He was described in every way that he was dead. And it kind of got me. Like, the moment he was describing it, I felt my heart drop. Like,
He was such a lovable
he
character.
was. He was an awesome character. And yeah, there was a moment there where it was being described to us that I'm staring into this orb, and it's like sweeping up and down him, because I'm like, oh my god, please show me some signs of life. And he's just
Yeah.
perfectly still, being like kind of like head getting kind of like pushed along by the currents of the water, and like he, for all intents and purposes, was gone.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
It's always hard when like you really
When you
like
invest in a character,
with an NPC and like
Yeah.
you really love them. I don't even know if we had
Schmeckers.
Schmeckles. That's right, Schmeckles.
that would have been Dylan's story if he was
You
here.
guys don't remember his name.
I didn't.
Image.
Image.
That's it. I
I
loved Image. I bought him.
I
We
never
bought
met
him as Zazel, and he accidentally revved Zazel into existence again. Do you remember that?
I don't know if that actually.
Once like Medusa, we had that Medusa head. I don't know. I don't think.
I swear to God, was this my one?
No.
I hate you, Blake. I hate you. Okay.
Killed by got turned into stone by Medusa, but Azazel was kind of good because it was good that he did that because he was an evil fucking character and he was
Oh, yeah.
strong. Like the person who made him strong. Like
Oh yeah.
it was a warlock.
He was a paladin.
Paladin.
Paladin sorcerer.
Paladin sorcerer,
Paladin.
and this guy knew what he was doing because he fucking built him.
Yeah.
So strong. So like it was kind of good, and then we gave him to Imish as a present because he loved rocks and he called them schmeckles, and we'd pay instead of coins with rocks, and he would kind of like a dung beetle, polish the rocks to make them look all nice and shiny.
Wow. Calling Image a dung beetle.
I said like the but yeah, he polished Azazel, and I don't know how, but he somehow brought Azazel back from me, which totally fucked us over in the last battle, because not only did we have to deal with Grazit, we had to deal with a Grazit given
Mhm.
powers Azazel, and
Mhm.
it was fucked, but it was just great.
I'm still mad at all of you. Not you. You weren't there. You didn't do it. I'm still mad at all of you for taking him out after I.
Shit talked him and all that.
Well, no. I offered him a fair fight, one-on-one, me versus him.
He would never do that.
He was coming over. He was gonna do it. It was just him and Grazit left. He had no one to get help from. Grazit was preoccupied with the rest of you, and you're like, oh, let's go and get him then. You all just kind of left Grazit standing over there. You're like, let's pile on.
Drive by.
Dylan, myself.
Right at all.
I think it was only Dylan myself because he was
Jordan did as well, I'm pretty sure.
in the original. I don't think Jordan was in our original.
Oh, so I thought you meant the piled on.
Oh yeah, well, he piled on, but Dylan and I had a particular vendetta against this character because he had been in a part of our group earlier, and then he obviously left us to go.
You wanna know what my vendetta against him was? He killed Steve in front of me.
Is that who killed Steve?
He killed Steve.
Well, I'm glad we killed
I
him.
used the second wish to bring him back.
Hey.
That's why he was still alive.
Yeah.
But he killed him. Well, he didn't. He dominated Bang and had Bang kill him. I was very, very mad at Bang for a very long time after that fight. It was. It was absolutely his
Bang
fault.
was just a harmless golem.
Yeah, I was very mad at Bang for that as well. But yeah, that's why it was so personal. That's why I walked up on top of the bridge, called him out, said, "You and me one-on-one over there, away from everything." And then you all piled on him after I'd walked off and couldn't see him. I stood there for 2 or 3 rounds and just said, I think I like took the dodge action in case he like decided to come over and cast a spell on me or something. But I just stood there for 2 or 3 rounds of the big fight, waiting for him to come over that bridge and fight me.
Just.
Yep.
Turns around the corner, or he did.
He's
Well, no, that's not
walking
what
and
happened.
Dylan started
Kelvin came over after Grazit decided that he wanted to use his anti-magic orb,
Yeah,
and no one could do anything to him. And that's how I found out that you killed the Zazel. Like that's how my character found out.
He's already dead.
Yeah, I couldn't say
we
like
had
no,
to
he's dead
kill
now.
him because he was gonna. I can't remember what Azazel was gonna. He was gonna do something.
He was gonna walk over to me and fight me.
No, there was something else that he was going to do, and everyone was just like, "Well, if we can't get you present, we'll get you Azazel. Fuck yeah."
But yeah, that's yeah. I spent 2 or 3 rounds just standing there.
That's hilarious.
You can fight him in the afterlife. It's fine.
I couldn't because I was a god at that point.
It just would have been a fair fight.
I had the rest of you fight him in my stead.
We were your loyal champions.
It's okay.
To give him a fair fight where he wasn't just being dogpiled on as he was walking.
Kids jumped on his way.
Literally, that's what happened. It was insane.
That's what happens in the street.
I was sitting there at the table just like, I fucking hate you all. And I don't know this, so I can't do anything about it. I am my turn.
I wait patiently.
Yeah, literally.
Wait patiently again.
I remember when all the faces when Grazit actually activated the anti-magical.
Oh yeah, they were like, fuck.
I don't think we realized what it was at the start. I had no idea what the fuck it was.
Oh, most of the people did.
Your characters didn't know what it was.
Yeah. We knew.
Half the information.
Yeah. We didn't know if.
Well, do you know what's a good topic right now?
What?
Asking each other questions because you have a player from original Friday, original Saturday, original Wednesday. You guys can actually ask each other questions about what ties in everything.
I got a question. Why the fuck did you just kill the people I was trying to fight him one-on-one?
I know this is coming.
We had.
That's right, I like you. You didn't kill him.
We had bad blood way before. If anything, we thought it was fair that we got to have a few shots on him. It's not our fault that he was so weak that he didn't even make it over to y'all, right?
Wow.
That looked
I kind of want to run Azazel's character in a 1v1 fight against Maddie's character.
He wouldn't last 2 rounds.
She wouldn't last 2 rounds apparently.
Wait, the bard
Yeah.
or
The bard. Yep, the bard. Yeah.
No, I'm a bard against the fucking paladin sorcerer.
You can have Dylan too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we killed him with
You can have
Dylan.
Strix as well.
You can have all 3 of them, and I'll fight you as Azazel, and I'll kill all 3 of you. That character was messed up.
And it was all legal.
It was
Yes.
illegal.
Yeah. It was just a power build.
Yeah.
That was the point, though.
It's dual class as well.
Yeah.
So they I think he did it strategically where he only leveled the character up to what he
Absolutely
needed.
needed.
We in the show bit.
He built
It
it
was
absolutely
crazy.
is what he did.
I remember like at first, I was kind of like, oh, that's cool, I don't really see the point. But then once I started to understand D&D more, and
Yeah.
I think Blake explained it more into depth, I was like,
Oh,
that's
shit.
fucking mental.
Yep.
And then I think halfway or like 3/4 through the campaign, we found out that Azazel had gone to Grazit, and we were like, oh shit, we're gonna die.
It's insane.
It was crazy.
It's insane.
It was crazy.
Some of the stuff that you can do with multi-classing is crazy.
I know.
That being said, some of the things you can do with straight classes is also insane.
Yeah.
So it just depends on how well you know your character as you're building them. And I don't mean the character's personality, I mean like what you're trying to achieve with the character.
Yeah, like
If you have a clear goal in mind, you understand the rules and how to build.
Yeah, I
You
think
can
it's
do some insane stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, I think it'd be good, especially when you're building your character. Like, you need to kind of think into the future. Like, what at a higher level, what do you want to achieve with your character? What would you get to, like, say, level 14 or something?
Well,
I
that's
feel
kind of
like,
why I brought up the
damn.
question: do you know what your subclass is going to be? Because you pick that next level,
Yeah, I do.
and that's in like 170 experience
I'm a
points. Like,
Next fight,
procrastinator.
you win.
yeah, literally
Yeah.
the next fight that we do, we will level up,
I,
and you'll need to be choosing
I
it.
know.
That's why I asked.
I-
So how much you thought about it?
like, I mean, there's definitely, like, I think what Strix had last time with, like, the flying, the rage flying, I thought that
Totally.
was
Totem War, that's it.
Totem Warrior. I thought that was awesome. But I don't really think that I would love to have it, but I don't really know if that fits in well with my character
Yeah, that's fair.
and what she is and what her backstory is and what I want her to be. The same as like with your character. Like your character is so mysterious. It's like when you come to your subclass, you really have to like.
Well, he's
think
already got his
about-
subclass.
Oh yeah, true.
Well,
He gets to level 1.
technically,
Doesn't he get another?
there's a pact.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's right. You get your.
I get a pact at level 3 rather than it's like a pseudo subclass. I suppose.
Yes.
But he
Warlocks
still has
actually
to
do get
think
that,
about like what he wants
Warlocks
to
are
do
a bit
with
funky
his
like that.
character. Like which way is
Sorta.
he gonna go?
I think his biggest decisions moving forward are: does he want to be Pact to the Blade, Pact to the Tome, or Pact to the Chain, or Pact to the Talisman now?
But it's so
yeah, there's
significantly.
a new pact, and there's a new pact item.
In Tasha's.
Tasha's Cauldron and everything. You get a Pact of the Talisman.
Huh.
And that's an item that you can either wear yourself and get the benefits, or you can give it to someone else and give them the benefits.
But do you know what I mean? Like,
You'll have to read up on it.
Yeah, I'll read up on that. It's vaguely familiar.
but every choice is so completely different from the other. Like, you really need to think about which one makes the most sense.
Yeah. So, like, his biggest decisions are going to be that,
Mm.
and what spells does he choose to take?
Because
That's gonna be one of the- Yeah. But, like,
Fantastic.
he outside of the character is going to be choosing his spells, and
Yeah.
as the character is going to be choosing when the character fully gains an understanding of these spells, as he's
Yeah.
been doing. He,
As
he
if-
currently knows 2 spells, but he knows, what, like 6 spells?
Roughly.
spells?
They're kind of
Yeah.
like at least 2 cantrips, 3 level 1s. I think
Well, you wouldn't
that's
have level
about
2s.
it.
So
Then it'll
you
get into it.
know 5 spells, but you know 2 spells.
Yeah.
Like, so he as a player has to choose out his spells, but
It makes
Yeah.
sense for his characters. to
whereas
slowly-
if you're going to be multi-classing, you have to go, okay, so is this the right level to be taking a dip into something?
Yeah,
What level do I have to get to before
because you're basically
this-
starting over.
I get the ability that I need from this class? So do I continue with my base class for X level so that I can get powerful enough to be able to compete with things and then start taking another class? Do I do it early so that things aren't as dangerous
I
at the
would
start?
like to try multi-classing.
Really hard.
But yeah, I was gonna say it sounds.
Rage.
I mean,
I did say
that
that.
is so incredibly we call it mad, multi attribute dependent or multi ability dependent. So,
Well, she already has strength, which is one of the requirements.
yep,
Constitution, and you just have wisdom for the next one.
yeah. But leveling 3 stats and trying them to get them all high is very hard.
To be
I don't
honest,
know,
You don't
I mean-
need your wisdom, because your wisdom is the one that says that it helps with your AC,
Also,
It's
stunning
spell.
strike.
but also, but with the added benefit of the barbarian with rage, that's damage.
Yeah.
Also, you get advantage on all your strength checks, which is the monk style one.
Yeah, there is absolutely a way that you can do it, but it's something you have to think about. And when do you want to take the level dip into the other class? And
I
so
don't-
barbarian's typically a hard class 2 multi-class because it shuts off, or it effectively shuts off all of the spellcaster classes because you can't cast spells while you're raging.
Yeah.
So you could technically take one of the classes, be like, oh, all right, well, I'm gonna cast some spells and do this and that, then I'll rage, or maybe if I get knocked out of my rage, then I'll start doing spells. But you are only ever playing one of the 2 classes at the same time, and you can't really combine them to be something.
I don't know. I think maybe just for this character for now, I'm actually quite enjoying being
Yeah.
a barbarian. Maybe next class, like
You could
imagine being a gunslinger
You could live
and
or you could do what Bang did last campaign and just take 2 levels in monk to unlock flurry of blows and
Yeah.
the ability to roll
Yeah,
with damage.
but then she has to figure out when she wants to take the level dips. Is
Yeah, that's true.
what she would have to plan.
Probably after level 5.
So there is a really good reason as to why you might want to do that and take the couple levels a month. But you'd have to really think about, can I afford the level now
Or you just take
and
the
not get this next thing a feat?
ruler.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 100% another thing. Like, you used to have to take 2 levels in Warlock in order to get a Warlock invocation. Now you can get it with a feat. There's literally just a feat that allows you to take a Warlock
there's
invocation.
just so much
initiate, wasn't
stuff that you can do. It's like
No, I don't think it's initiate, but it's
It's
something
along
like
those
that.
lines.
Yeah, there's a feat that you can take to get 2 sorcery points and a meta magic, or 2 meta magics. I think it is.
It's 2.
It's 2, yeah. So, like, you can do a lot more with feats now, and I feel like if you're gonna try, if you want to try multi-classing but you don't know how you want to do it, maybe taking one of these weird feats that gives you a core mechanic from a class might be the better way to go, at least at the start, because you get kind of an idea of what this could be like if you were to start investing in a class. So.
maybe if Kashmir dies.
Well, hey, you don't have to do it now.
It doesn't necessarily have to be death. It could be temporary retirement. Maybe they have to go up and do something.
But yeah, definitely if it's something that you're considering, though,
Yeah.
come and talk to us and we'll be able to, kind of run you through some of your options. And
It would be pretty cool.
but I would recommend coming with an idea of what you want the character to do. And
The
after having a look and seeing that, I want to play a monk, but I want to be able to do this specific thing, but the monk doesn't allow me to do it with any of their subclasses. And come and let us know, and we can be like, well, you might be able to multi-class into this to get it.
The only thing is, it's like if I am to multi-class, my memory is absolute gobble. So
it's just more to remember.
I'm just gonna totally forget. You're gonna be like, it's like, what's such a simple thing? Attack of opportunity. It's such a simple thing. You learn it from the start. I've been playing this for almost 3 years now, and I still fucking forget about the attack of opportunity.
Okay, so you say that, but your last character, the bard,
Yeah.
had a sword that had an ability that's not actually in the core rules, and you were using that sword pretty decently.
Yeah.
So it's not that you're bad at knowing it or remembering things; it's that you're not in the swing of the game yet.
And yeah.
Once you get back into it, you'll have those innate thoughts of, oh my god, it's moving, I'm going to make an attack because it's leaving my threatened square. And it'll be something that comes back to me in time.
Gotta get back to the
Yeah, and as long as you know, as long as you're like constantly exercising what your character can do, you'll be fine, and you'll get into the swing of it just being second nature to feel like it's a single class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little known fact, I don't know if you know this, but Niley actually multi-classed originally
Oh, did
before she
she?
died.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What was she?
So,
A sorcerer.
a sorcerer warlock. So,
Oh,
she
actually.
was a warlock from
Yeah,
the start,
yeah.
and long story short, she gave up her pact to save Balcorn,
Yeah.
Rob's original character.
Yeah.
So because I gave up my pact, it was like a homebrew thing that we did. I could technically take levels in it, but what we said was that I no longer had any connection to my patron. I was gifted the powers that I already had, but I could no longer take levels. And so anything I did from here on out, I needed to take levels in a different class. So I chose Wild Magic Sorcerer because it was almost like a chaotic spark that, yeah.
Wild magic's
Oh,
fun,
no.
man.
The way that I justified it was a chaotic spark that was ignited from me having these powers within me that wasn't tied to something anymore.
Oh, flavor.
That's
I love it.
cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think I have to go because my head is starting to really kill me. I got a concussion yesterday, but I'm okay now. But I'm in the aftermath
She
of
got
getting
flew by a magpie.
Jacob.
It's
So a
you
magpie.
brought it up. I wasn't going to say anything.
I just said that I have a really.
Oh, I know, but you brought it up.
I was walking to work, and a magpie hit
You
me
have
in
to
the
tell
back
the
of my
story.
head. I tripped over my foot and hit my head on the concrete. I got a minor concussion yesterday, and I'm getting really bad headache.
Wait, you didn't have to tell the story. I was just
You
so
already
good.
said
Fun.
Wait until Blake just has an encounter with a magpie that keeps sweeping us.
Oh, I did that when I
Don't give
was.
him any
No,
ideas.
when I was originally running the first campaign that I was attempting, not with anyone from here, it was just a couple of other mates that were like, I want to try it, because I would always talk about it. I gave it a go of DMing for them, and I did pretty much that exact thing.
That's amazing.
It was meant to just be a really easy encounter where I just had some birds that they disturbed because one of them just kept climbing trees.
This is triggering me hard.
And I just had him. I think I made it owls because I didn't want him to just be like, oh, I'll take the opportunity to attack this thing with 1 HP and just like kill them all immediately. Because I wanted to swoop him. And owls have an ability called flyby. Where they don't provoke an opportunity attack. So I was just like, yeah, cool. They swoop in, they take an attack, and they keep flying out.
That's how I
Go
didn't know
on.
how
They've
to
only
do
got
that.
1 HP. Go on, shoot him out of the sky.
I
And
wish
they just couldn't hit him. It ended up being like an hour and a half fight.
God.
And they just kept getting. They only deal 1 damage on a
It
hit as well.
reminds me of what is that? Is it Spielberg? The
No idea.
movie with all the birds and stuff, and like they were live birds chasing out. It's like this old black and white movie.
Fair enough.
From the Shining as well, the same director
Oh.
or writer.
Yeah, it's
Stephen King. I think it's Stephen King.
yeah.
Was it Stephen King?
There are a
maybe it's
lot of
Spielberg.
weird shit.
But it just reminded me of that scene, like the crow or something like
Fair
that.
enough. Yeah, but like they only deal 1 damage. They've only got 1 health. But they were just rolling like dog shit the whole encounter. So I just had them keep coming through, swoop, come through,
Relatable.
swoop.
Death by a
Swoop, swoop.
1,000 pecks.
I
Relatable.
nearly killed one of the characters. He went down. I was like, how? There's 3 hours here.
You're losing to
They just couldn't do it.
Damn it.
So yeah,
That's traumatic.
it was awesome.
Reenactment.
It was awesome.
I will leave you guys to the lovely Jacob and Jacob.
Jacob!
I'm gonna go rest. I will see you guys next week. Thank you for having
All right.
me. I'm
Take
sorry
care, Maddie. No,
for
you're
filming it
alright.
early.
Health comes first. So do you have any questions?
Ugh.
Now,
Why not? You've had plenty of time to think about it.
yeah, I've had plenty of time to listen to you guys do stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. You ain't meant to be jumping in. I'm trying to keep you both engaged, but I can't do everything. Come on.
Yeah. Well, that's...
Feel a bit better?
Still on the spot. Yes.
Feel a bit better now?
It's
Feels
short.
more like a podcast, yeah?
Back to the classic. We'll just have this empty chair. This could be you.
Hell,
Hi.
maybe. We'll see.
But topic to think about is
You didn't come up with one before we rolled, did you?
I did, but I can't remember it.
Lovely.
Something that made me think was when you guys were talking about your rivalry with Azazel
Yeah.
and all that shit. I was just trying to remember. Did my group have a rival?
I'm not sure. I wasn't part of your group.
Because I was just trying to go chronologically. There was first the gnome. I'm not sure. I know the gnome did actually come back.
Is
But I
that the
wasn't
gnome with the golem?
The golem.
Yeah, I've heard that story.
Because that bastard. He eventually did.
That first episode of your first
Yeah.
campaign story, I've heard that.
And then those events got like the timeline got reset.
Yeah.
So things happened differently, and he was caught previously, so he didn't die.
Yeah.
So he
He also
came-
stopped my bad guy from dying.
Yeah, and then we killed him.
Yeah.
Magic's fun. I do remember.
At least when I reversed time, I only did it for like 10 minutes.
Nah, it's number 5.
It's like just enough time so that this shit doesn't happen. We can go around. But you guys are like, nah, let's just drop 2 and 3 weeks backwards and just like start again.
Let's do this one more time. But yeah, he did eventually come back later on as a side adventure.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like a rival on the same tier as Azazel. So I just kept trying to think. I suppose there was this drow.
Mm.
He kept coming back a couple of times. But
Was his name by chance Jalaxel?
was it?
Do you remember the one in the Underdark?
The bald one? Yeah.
He was a good guy.
Yeah, he was.
You may have had problems with him, but he was a good guy, at least when we found him.
He wasn't so much a rival, but we certainly did encounter him a couple times because it was like it was a strange relationship.
Mm.
We eventually overthrew him and then took it over, obviously by killing him. And then he came back because
Yep.
there's just a door to hell.
Yep.
Then he took it back, and my character got back there. There was the greatest interaction. So the original Saturday group was comprised of a 2 sorcerers,
Mm-hmm.
a rogue, and a barbarian myself. And I think it was a blood hunter to begin with.
Yep.
And the rogue is the stereotypical kleptomaniac rogue.
Okay. Just want to steal things from people.
It was done well.
Mm-hmm.
It was done amazingly. They became the pseudo leader, and they did some crazy shit, man. They did a heist. They infiltrated. They did all of this, and it was crazy. But eventually, we encountered the Underdark. What was their name? Breaking the Earth. That's it.
Yep. Right.
We encountered them, and they were working, I think, with Grazit or Barracus.
Yeah.
One of the two. And we came to find out that Jalaxel was under the control, or like his soul was something to do with Grazit.
Yep.
So we wanted to remove him, and the rest of the mercenaries were fine. And we came up with the crackpot idea of taking over Breaking the Earth.
God damn it.
So we infiltrated, killed him. And if I remember correctly, this was also at the point. Oh, that's right. It was a double mission.
Okay.
It was to save Marcus,
Mm-hmm.
and it was to kill Jalaxel.
Amazing.
We technically succeeded,
In both?
except one succeeded a bit too late. In the case of Marcus, because we sure he was still alive, but he was also being used as a component to bring Grazit out of his dimension.
Gotcha.
So we arrived, did all that. My character died.
How many times did you die in that campaign?
Die properly, this is the first time.
Okay.
Because the others was a bit like, by technicality, I'm still alive, but this one, I died.
Oh no, I'm talking about the technicality ones as well, where you're too angry to actually die, but you just get revived afterwards.
A few times.
Yeah.
But that was only at the end when we
Okay.
could afford it. But this time, my character fully died because we were trying to stop a ritual,
Mm-hmm.
and there was this spellcaster
Yep.
who basically, during combat, just pointed at my character and said, die. And
But how would kill?
So, a fun fact about that, if your house
Amazing.
under a certain threshold, you just straight up
It's
die.
100.
Yeah, you just die.
Yep.
And
That's a 9th level spell.
Blake didn't realize that I was in that threshold.
Amazing.
So when I just looked at my thing, it's like, well, I'm dead. And yeah, so that was great. That was horrible. And then it just kept evolving until eventually Grant got out.
Yeah.
Okay, and Barracus' brother came to save us, getting killed in the process, but amazingly, Grant did leave us alone.
Mhm.
And we managed to revive both of us using gems in the vault.
Yep.
And during this time, I think it was either before or during, the rogue had killed Jalaxel. And this was the point where we failed our task. We succeeded our task, but failed it, and it's just really weird. Did
Amazing.
take over Breaking the Earth, and it was just this crazy point. And I forget where I began with this, and I really just wanted to go.
Dude, that was just a ride. That was just a... Oh my god.
I think it was something to do with Jalaxel, but then I kind of forgot.
Rival.
Yeah.
Rival, that's it. So then, around this time, the Saturday group left.
Yep.
And then I joined the new Friday group.
Yeah.
Or new Saturday group, whatever.
Well, the original Friday group.
The original
Yeah,
Friday group. And then, later on, when we came back to Break the Earth,
Mhm.
because they had a portal system.
Yeah.
And we were going to use that to...
The homestones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my character was surprised to meet Jalaxel. And I was like, you're dead. You're not dead. And the weird thing is, my character wasn't there when we killed him.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And he
yeah.
wasn't that fully aware, but he knew I was there.
Yeah.
So it was just this mutual agreement of like, okay, so where's my friends? They're on
Okay,
a
so we both died, and we both came back, so let's not start this again.
She's like, so where's my friends? Oh yeah, they're still here. They're just chilling. Alright, cool. Sales. Cool. And then we just he said that he's no longer under control of Grazit because Grazit had his soul went to hell
Mhm.
and just walked straight out. No more control. Yeah. So neutral terms.
Amazing.
So that was great. And that's how that rivalry was resolved, just by mutual agreement. We're cool. We're cool. We're cool. We're cool.
Oh.
That was great.
I love it how a lot of your stories literally just go, okay, so we started here, we did this, and we went back to the start and left. Like there's just a lot of loops.
It's a lot of really great moves, man. They're really amazing moves. And I think by the end of it, my character was pretty friendly to everyone.
You were pretty friendly considering,
Yeah.
Considering the things that I saw of your character.
Like, oh, that's right. You're a savage lizard folk that was hell bent on saving his people.
Yeah.
It just so happened that I was in a morally correct group. If
He's just really good at making wholesome characters. Somehow.
Somehow.
Made a character that literally ate people, and he was still somehow wholesome.
I
don't know, man.
I was simple. I had simple needs, and shit. I people liked me. I could be. The funny thing is, both Strix and Hex go downhill if the party just diverges off the moral compass.
I mean, like, it may just happen.
It just
Who knows? Who knows?
We'll see in a few seconds.
I like to think we're moving along the straight and narrow.
We're
But we'll see.
we're on race's edge.
Look, madness is only a push away.
Or
So-
God and
Yeah, but we're not the Wednesday group.
We're not them.
We plan our fights. Also, the others are usually already unconscious when the guards come, so I just go, yeah, cool, let's go.
Our first encounter with the law. We killed some bandits. No present.
Hey, they came after us.
Yeah.
They did it to themselves.
Bro, this on your
Whereas the assassin did it to himself. The guard was doing his duty.
Oh my god. I think the
Oh,
entire
love you, Rob. Love you, Arthur.
I wonder if they're watching. You watching?
I don't know. They haven't said anything. Normally they point out when we're talking about them.
Yeah. Maybe they rewatch it and it's like, no, they're talking about us.
Yeah,
Talk shit
basically.
about Wednesday.
Yeah.
We always talk shit about Wednesday.
We always talk shit about ourselves.
That's just,
We
yeah.
just talk shit.
I too am extremely humble.
Amazing.
I think the entire moral of that was I don't remember Arrival because my character never really pissed anyone off. Barracus kind
I
of.
love it how in the course of you explaining your answer to a question, we went on so much of a tangent.
And then we
I love this podcast, man.
And yes, technically Barracus was a rival, but he wasn't a rival until like the very end.
explain your interactions each other with the first bad guy of the whole thing, because you've had different experiences.
When you say the first bad guy, do you mean Barracus or do you mean Father
The
Corin?
big bad.
The BBEG for that.
Alright, so you may not know this, but Barracus was actually Rob's first character's bad guy.
Oh, we knew he was a bad guy.
No, but did you know that he was linked to Rob's first character?
I didn't know he was linked to
That
first
was
character.
gone for a long time when we first fought him. Like when we fought him in the end.
No.
Yeah, he was part of Rob's original character's backstory, and that's how he was added to the world.
Do you know who let him out of prison?
Probably them.
No, Dylan.
Dylan let him out of prison.
Nice.
Huh. Look, I think my favorite thing with Barracus was the fact that my character at the time, the one that I retired because I just messed up character creation for him, took both of his big magical items
Yeah.
and retired with them.
I remember
Just
that.
took him and left.
I remember.
So my the reason why I did it was that I took the belt off of him and put it on myself so that he wouldn't be wearing it and wouldn't get the effects of it if he ended up getting back up.
Yeah.
Then because I had the belt, I was like, all right, well, I mean, we beat him, so I might as well tune to my new magic item. Why not? And then I think it was Dylan's character's like, cool, I want his glaive, and walked over. It's like stuck in the ground. He walks over. He's like, cool, yeah, I'm gonna pick up the glaive. He's like, and Blake's like, all right, cool, roll me a strength check because this thing's fucking heavy.
It's a big
And
boy.
like, he had like, I'm pretty sure he had max strength at this point. And he's just like,
It was
all right,
close.
this'll be easy. Can't lift it. Blake's like, yeah, in order to lift it without without a check, just lift it in general, you need to have like 26 strength. The belt set your strength to 27 or whatever the hell it was.
It was a
So like
Oh,
you
okay.
needed the belt
to
to
use
use
the glaive.
the glaive. And so because I had already attuned to the belt, I was like, well fuck, I guess I take the glaive too, don't I?
Yeah.
Because it was just left there. I straight up wasn't going to go and touch it. I was going to go, nah, it's someone else's. I got something out of this fight, and I'm going to, continue on whatever I do with the character. And then all the other parties kind of dispersed and went their own way. I kind of looked up, I'm like, I think it's still there. Alright. Look, I'll take that.
It was a
'Cause
funny turn of events.
It was a staff that was converted into a glaive. So me as a druid was like, cool, it's a staff. I can use this thing as a spellcasting focus. I can use it as the glaive that it is if I want to. It's also just got its own magical qualities that I can use. Like, why not? Like, I'm not going to leave it there. And then we had a time skip, and he's like, yeah, cool, so if anyone's not in, like, thinks that their characters have done their thing, if anyone's not enjoying their characters in terms of, like, the new players, or if anyone just wants to try something different, this is probably a really good time to retire your character because we've got a time skip here.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I messed up my character in Character Crash, I'm gonna retire him. Like, looked at me, he's like, you just took both of the magic items that were, like, the loot from the last fight, and now you're gonna retire your character? I'm like, yeah, well, like, I'm not gonna just be like, I'm leaving, so here's this belt that we took so that it stays in the party.
It does
didn't make any sense.
It is, yeah.
And, that, and, the druid also took Jordan's werewolf character with him to kind of like teach him how to control the beast and blah blah blah, and like literally took him and was protecting him for the last of it. So that belt and staff was really fucking powerful.
Yeah.
So it probably really helped him protect this little kid while he taught him how to control his powers.
Oh well, it all ended up pretty well. That was still.
Oh.
What was your first interaction with Barracus?
Mine? Like me as a player?
You as a group also. I'd say.
The rest of my group fought him while they were trying to rescue my character.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't play for several weeks because my character was kidnapped.
Mm.
And the rest of the group came after me and fought him, and Jordan's character Delvin got beheaded.
Oh, Jacob, you've had a first interaction.
Did I?
Yeah, you've done
Hmm?
it. He brought something to you, and your character died. It's
Oh, that would have... That's right, yeah, okay.
your first
Yeah.
actual in-game, you face-to-face.
Yeah, okay. No, I do remember that now, actually. So, he got brought back to life. It was
Yeah.
after he's brought back, right? Yeah, so up until that fight, I'd never seen him. Me, as a person, I'd never seen him. That was my first interaction with him, playing the game. It was that big fight. And I took all his shit and just left. But my first, like, actual in-game, not just fighting him, time that I saw him was as Nylian.
Ah.
He brought the Balor with him. The Balor that was hunting the other half of my soul that got offered up without my consent, and just took it. And so I died.
Oh, that battle.
That's how Nylia died.
No.
It was so anticlimactic. I mean, like, it was in part my own fault.
Yeah.
So during that interaction, Nylia was. So no, actually, it wasn't before that, because Nylia died, and that's when I created the other character. So it was slightly before it. But she, because she was higher level than all the other characters, because I pulled a card from the deck of many things and gained 50,000 experience points. She kind of took on a role of protector for the rest of the group. So when Barracus showed up with this fucking Balor,
Yeah.
I was like, right, everyone in the castle, and I stayed at the door and made sure everyone got in. And just before I was able to go in, it took my soul.
You stood there for too long.
Yeah. So technically it was my own fault, but there's no way in hell she would have just left and left anyone outside. So
Well, you guys
super anticlimactic though. I 100% got my revenge.
against the Balor.
Yeah, I 100% got my revenge.
Oh.
And I mean, I could technically, if I want, have my revenge against Barracus's recycled soul for all eternity.
Yeah. Back there in the Lost Crusade Claim.
Why not?
It's trapped.
In the
I got godly powers. I'm sure I can do something.
None of maintenance considered.
Yeah, it's definitely different than when my party first met him.
Yeah.
I can't remember the specifics of when we actually first met him, but I remember Well, actually, Blake might be able to help. Do you remember the first time Barracus and my group interacted? Like, and full on got together?
One second.
Of course he remembers.
Yeah.
I have to kind of remember everything.
Man has a vault of a memory.
I mean, he also created the world.
That too.
So, like, I guess it makes it a little bit easier.
Bit of a perk of being DM.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just touch.
You're more intimately connected with the world because you literally created the world.
Oh, hey, I'm just being used. Yay.
So we have a guest here on the this special technical difficulties podcast. The Cam Ninja himself, Blake.
Hi. I decided to wear the exact same pants as Jacob today. Just wore the black.
Cheer up.
Alrighty.
What are you talking about, man? Like how?
Yeah.
I've had these fucking pants since I was in high school.
Yeah, they even got the same, the splitties.
Please.
So, your first interaction with Barracus was actually he was walking through town, and he watched you guys defeat something. I can't remember it off the top of my head. And he walked up to you and offered you guys a job.
Would it have
It
been
was
the...
Drow.
Oh,
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Drow.
wasn't the flesh golem?
No.
Wasn't that early on?
It was the Flesh Golem because time went turned back.
Right. We faced the flesh golem. First time around, kind of went badly. Then we did it again.
So he was
Not prepared.
he was following you for a bit, and then when you guys got to a certain town, he came up and said, "I've been following you for a bit." After hearing that you defeated the Flesh Golem, because he didn't watch you do it, he heard you did it, and then that's when he offered you guys a job to help out.
So you guys were like pretty intimately connected with him throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, we were bros at first.
I know that you had a relationship and you did like work for him and
Yeah.
you interacted a lot. I knew that, but I didn't know it was that early.
So there was 3 outcomes. There was always like 3 outcomes. So one of them was that one outcome was always that your party was going to fight.
Mhm.
That was always it.
I mean, he was Rob's
outcome.
bad guy. So.
Second outcome was dependent on how Friday worked. Would Friday join him or fight him?
Yeah.
And then it was Saturday because they and Dylan. I know this is a hard time for you right now, but I want to look. Pay attention to me.
Look more.
You fucked my plans. Straight up. I try so hard in our games to set up little surprises. Not just with in-story stuff, but so they one day can talk about this and go, oh my god, this, and that happened. In the middle of them doing said thing. And Dylan, who plays Zephyr, ruined it. Because it was what's the time?
11 o'clock?
Okay, in 1 hour, it would be the anniversary of when you fucked my campaign.
Whoa!
Because it happened at my birthday party
Amazing.
when they were talking about Barracus, a new person they had met.
Oh,
And you jumped up and said,
I remember that.
Barracus!
Are you fucking furious?
He killed half our party! And that ruined everything. I heard it and I just went like this.
So
Bruh.
a bit of backstory here. For Blake's birthday that particular year, we all got together and we ran a D&D level 21 shot, which was a big-ass battle royale. So there was... How many people were there?
There was 18. I
There
wasn't
you go.
meant to be running it. I was meant to be playing it.
And then... Yeah, who was meant to be running it?
One of the other fellas that the guy who
Was,
played
that
Azazel,
was playing? Okay.
but
There you go.
he forgot to NA work,
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
so I had to do it. If you want to
Yeah.
go get yourself another drink.
So, he ended up running it, and, you know, we were all... He ended up bringing in, like, his own little character so he could, like, play in it as well. It was a lot of fun. It was just a battle royale, level 20 battle royale. It took forever. Like, just the amount of shit you can do at that level is insane. And, yeah, Dylan, at one point, like, I think it was after the entire thing, he's just... Yeah, so, yeah, where we met this guy called Barracus, and he's saying this from, like, the other side of the room where we're playing, or the
gazebo,
little
which was a
gazebo.
big one.
He's on the other side. It's not a small space. And we just kind of like, our ears picked up. And just like, what the fuck did he just say Barracus? Oi! Did you just fucking say Barracus? I swear to fucking God.
I had so many people asking me questions that day.
Yeah.
Because the whole purpose was, don't talk about campaign,
Yeah.
just talk about previous stuff. When I mean previous stuff, I mean like, after we finish the fight with Barracus, you can talk about all that first part.
Yeah. If you fought, if you're like currently in contention with a bad guy, don't be talking about it, because it could have something to do with the other characters.
Or if you're in the middle of a storyline.
Yeah, don't talk about that storyline. If you've already finished it, like how we fought Father Torian and he died, as far as we knew he was dead, it was fun to talk about. Yeah, that was the general rule. Just don't bring up current things that are happening, because Blake's really good at kind of moving enemies around the map and having them doing their own individual things as we're playing the game. That's why all three groups ended up interacting with Barracus in completely separate parts of the world. Because it's literally just the motto that the enemy's always moving.
I was always here.
You can't.
Of
course you.
I heard you ask the question.
Um,
I just made me lose my shit.
the enemy's always moving, and so you can't just kind of sit around and wait for things to kind of resolve themselves, because things are gonna get worse. And yeah, they brought it up, and we heard it, and it became a massive thing, and ruined a lot.
Yeah, so in this following session, I'm like, well, they now know he's a bad guy, because he was always going to, like, slowly wean his way of showing he was bad.
Yeah.
And it was originally meant to be like, you guys would make the decision whether or not to stay or not. But also, you might, like, partake in the things he was doing. So that means when he came up to the other group, to you guys, to finish it, they could have been joining him.
Mm.
But Dylan ruined it. So I, next session, had to impromptu make him just say he was bad.
Yeah.
And they all spoke about, they realized they weren't the, like, nicest party at all. They had, like, a vote thing. And there used to be this thing where I used to actually get up and leave the room so they could talk in confidence. Well, I'm not there. Even when they, like, strategized, I did that as well.
Yeah.
So that way I would not know their plan whatsoever.
Yeah.
It was all just 100% non-meta games.
Like, we do the same thing when we ready actions. If you've seen, I don't know if Wednesday group's done it, but
yeah, they've done
Friday group, we've done it. And what we do is we actually write our ready actions on a whiteboard and we keep it face down. We don't show him what we're doing. But the fact that it's written down means we can't just sort of, like, subtly change it and be like, oh yeah, that would do it. If what's written would trigger, it triggers.
It also stops me from stepping around what they're doing.
Like, even unintentionally, like, you know, if you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wait for him to step into my threatened space, but there was two people that were kind of tossing up between going up to, and he goes, oh well, he's gonna go up to them. It sort of always is a little bit of a feel bad that you're like, oh well, you know, I just read it in action and you went to the other guy instead. Like, if he does it and it's written on a whiteboard, we kind of can't get mad at it.
Yeah. I want to get 4 whiteboards in total.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
So
so you
we'll
have
just
one
hold
each.
our own one.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah,
cards.
the little ones.
Little memo cards.
Exactly. So that way you can, like, flip them around, and that
Yeah.
way
You
know,
have to
we
be
don't
a
have to, like,
podcast.
hide.
Hide the
half
different
of it,
ones.
yeah.
And yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, it was Yeah, it was then. It's when you you befriended Barracus and all that stuff. One thing that I did actually was I thought it'd be fantastic, and I would show everyone would have a chance to fight the Valor. And there were so many different scenarios where it made so much of difference. For instance, your original group fought it at level 7.
I don't remember the specifics of levels.
But yeah, they fought it at level 7 when there was originally 12 of you guys who fought it in a forest,
Yeah.
and you almost just lost. And then they literally fought it 2 sessions later at a town, and there were 6 of them, and Dylan got the killing blow.
Dance.
Yeah, he rolled a natural 20 to kill it, and
Yep.
he screamed when he did it.
It's one of those things where we keep bringing up that challenge rating is the biggest load of horse shit in this whole game.
Yeah.
You can fight shit that you would look at and go, oh my god, this is the Tarrasque. It's a CR level 30 monster. There's no way we can do this.
Well, there was... Yeah.
But like, literally anyone that's got access to polymorph can kill a Tarrasque.
I've gotten really good at understanding just what the players can fight.
That's right, and it's dependent on the players and what their capabilities are as to the things that they can.
You guys are
fight.
level 2 and you fought a challenge rating 5.
Yeah.
In the Hill Giant.
Yeah.
Oh,
Murdered it.
That's
Murdered
right.
the crap out of it.
We at level 1 during lockdown fought 3 ogres.
Yeah, 3 ogres.
3 ogres. Like, they're challenge rating 2? Or
You 2, yeah.
yeah, but 3 of them. And challenge rating is one of those things where they stack accordingly. Like 3 challenge rating 2s isn't a challenge rating 6, not by a long shot.
Level 1 versus a flesh golem.
Yeah.
And literally, it only took 2 players to kill it.
Yeah.
First time round, one person did die, but that was because they rolled a natural 1.
Yeah.
And they were very squishy.
Yes.
And they went squish.
But also, you went to run away. If you didn't run away, the fight would have been faster.
Yeah. I still think that's hilarious.
But that's the biggest.
And I remember what you said afterwards. You're the first barbarian that didn't range during combat. I was like, that's funny.
Yeah, you're the first barbarian to rage and say, this is not our fight.
I don't think I raged.
No, to not rage and say, this is not our fight. So, yes.
Have any other characters actually run away from a fight?
You guys.
When?
Colosseum.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't really count that as running from a fight. We were running away from a siege. So yeah.
The short-lived Saturday night group.
Yeah.
When it turned from 3 groups to 4 groups. My God. Yeah, that's when one of your party members split because they had to work weekend work.
Yeah.
Oh no. It was editor actually who had to start working Saturdays for like a month. So then I had to make it a way that I could work around his timetable. He had to work Friday nights. So I worked around his timetable and actually got him to be on the Saturday after the Saturday group, so that way the person who got split up with didn't have to do double the driving.
Mm-hmm.
That way it was just drive, and then he goes over there, and they hang out and wait. So that was a lot.
Yeah. So at that point, he was running Friday night into Saturday morning into Saturday night,
Yeah.
as well as the Wednesday group.
I was like a school teacher. But yeah,
and you were like a school teacher in terms
had to
of
run
the
away.
people you had to deal with too.
they infiltrated a ball,
Yeah.
and they forgot everything. It was one of the things where they had like
Cover
everything
stories
to
and-
cover stories and everything, and I gave them pieces of paper. They had it for at least 10 minutes because it was just before they were going to the thing, and then I took the piece of paper away because it was them rehearsing it, so they had to remember it.
Yeah.
That was the thing. And they said, oh, well, why couldn't we like keep the piece of paper? It's to keep the immersion of you have to remember this.
Yeah.
So they like winged the crap out of it, and then they had a little bit of a mess up near the end of it, and they had to run away, and the rogue actually saved the bard. But yeah, they had a lot of fun doing all that stuff. But that's one of the things they had to run away.
That was the little side adventure the rogue did, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's why he wasn't with you guys for a while.
Yeah.
Sure.
So there's been at least a couple.
Yeah. Well, the rogue actually, when he came back on a saving mission to save you guys, which you weren't prepared for. So another thing I love to do in my games is get my players involved in the story more so than ever behind the scenes, to the points where they do all the surprising and stuff.
Yeah.
You'd have no idea if another player was to walk through a door.
That shit was awesome.
Yeah. And like they had it so planned. Again with it happened with you multiple times.
Yep.
You did it with your good character and your evil character.
Yep.
Dylan did it on that same night, which made it even more exciting when he came through.
You'll scream.
Oh, that was
scream again.
So what happened there was it was Friday group just doing their thing, and we'd already planned it. So myself and Jordan, who plays Magnus on the Wednesday group, we walked in as our evil characters. We're like, yeah, come on, let's go. This is the fight that we were talking about earlier. I'm like, come on, that's it. We're gonna end this here. And then partway through the fight, Dylan walked in through in the exact same way that we had done it. We're all just like, what the fuck's going on?
So it wasn't just a surprise on them that they were getting attacked in like a very emotional setting. But then it was a surprise on you
on us that we were
Dylan came
ambushed by another character.
The bamboozlers became bamboozled.
And I remember because the portal opened and you guys, because what you thought was going to happen was Grazit was going to walk through.
We thought we were getting
because what I told you that was exactly what was the plan was. But there was always a 50-50 chance on who rolled through.
Yeah.
And the way I did that was because Dylan knew this. He knew there might be a chance he doesn't walk through that door.
Yeah.
So I rolled. I just did a random roll.
Did you roll that night, or did you roll it like the day before and tell him, okay, it's you?
No, that night. And I rolled...
Because that would have made sense as well, where you're like, just before the fight happens?
No, I rolled it when he cast it.
Oh, wow.
Because that casting was saying who he was putting the portal in front of.
Ah.
And it literally rolled for Dylan. And I told Dylan, you're good to come in.
Cool.
And
okay,
then,
that's kind of cool.
And then
fun, man.
the defender was sitting just outside of the bag of holding. And then I remember it flew to the portal as you watch a hand grab it coming out of the portal, as you see as I was explaining that someone was coming through. And then Dylan comes out, and what does he do? He rolls a natural 20 against your brother.
He literally steps through the portal, rages, I'm gonna attack this bitch, and goes, natural 20. I'm pretty sure Jordan had lucky as well. And then he's like, okay, cool, I'll re-roll it. Natural 20.
And it
like, it was messed up.
And he was just...
That attack won them the fight.
Yeah.
That one attack.
Yeah. Because he just then defeated your brother with ease.
Well, it wasn't that. It was that he had to roll concentration on the haste.
Yeah.
So, and it broke. This was like a special ability, so it didn't carry the downsides of haste.
Yeah.
But he didn't have that entire extra attack every single turn. And that just like threw everything out the window. Yeah. It was insane. Like that fight was messed up, like on so many levels. Like we nearly killed an entire other group. Then someone walks in and goes, natural 20. We're like, no, try that again. He goes, yeah, fine, natural 20. And then proceeds to just absolutely like destroy them. And then my character ended up piecing out and just like dropping a 9th level fireball and then just disappearing and leaving.
Adios.
So I was like, I'll leave you with this.
I also, and then another time was when the rogue came to save you guys off the boat of the Rakshasa.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
You heard commotion going upstairs. You had no idea what was going on. You heard like crackles of lightning and everything as the Rakshasa like walks off upstairs, and then you hear someone coming in downstairs, and then there you go. The door opens, and there he is. He came back to save you.
It was always such an awesome time because it sounds like we did it a lot, but it happened like maximum 10 times in a 2-year campaign.
I don't even think it was maximum
Well, like
10. I think it was
throwing
under 10.
numbers out there, yeah.
It was
Less
like
than
the
10
time
2-year
where
campaign.
Dylan and the guy who was playing as Azel, you weren't there for this one, and neither were you, but the Wednesday group was a loss. They didn't know what they were going to do. Then Kat pretty much guilt-tripped Jordan into going to rescue you guys.
Yeah.
And then as they were doing that, they traveled, they tried and did everything, find all the clues, and they found their way to Zendikar after going to Nuit to understand that that's where they were going. And when they got there, they got told that they weren't the only ones in town looking for Barracus, and they had no idea what that meant. So they got told that the people in there are in that tavern. And as they're walking out of the tavern, you just see Dylan and the other fella walk up to the gazebo, and they're like, "Holy crap!
Oh,
Is this actually happening?" And it was a team up.
That was the first one, hey?
Yeah, the first team
Yeah.
up. And
Right.
then there was also I think that was it. I don't think there were too many in total.
There wasn't many.
No.
Like I count each like person or like group of people walking in as one surprise. So like during the fight against your group, I'd count myself and Jordan coming in and Dylan coming in as 2 separate.
Yeah.
So like that's 2 there. There was those 2 coming in to rescue us. That's 3. There was
You getting rescued.
yeah, that's 4. There was mine and Jordan's characters coming back to life. That's 5.
Yeah.
Like there was somewhere between 5 and 10 times where it happened, but it was over a 2.5 year long campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it really did not happen very often at all. So when it did, it was just always such a hype moment.
It was
awesome.
pure exhilaration.
I kind of have a question now that you've brought up the team up to save everyone that was captured. If Kat had never guilt tripped the rest of them into saving myself and Rock, would you have let me save the 2 of us with the verbal only spell? Or would you have just said make a new character?
No, I thought about it. There were always a chance that the other 2 players could do it.
Like the other group?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I would have done is because one, he would have never died. So there was always a chance that they would have run into you guys instead.
Yeah.
But then again, if let's say worst case scenario, they thought all was lost, things would have been like quite different because the Balor would have just been released.
Yeah.
And then after that, you guys would have been thrown back in the cage, and they'd be less careful about it because, they don't know the extent. So that's when it would have been not just you, but all of yous having a prison break mission.
Okay. So it would have ended up.
You
We
would have
would have
never
gotten out regardless.
Yes, but
Yeah.
you would have never not died.
Yeah.
And what could happen there is that it would have been a choice of, do you want to return to these people?
Yeah.
Pretty
Okay.
much that.
Fair enough. I just realized I'd never asked that question before, so curious. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So for anyone that doesn't know, at that point I had it was a verbal only spell. I believe it's called Celestial Guardian or something. It's a cleric spell, but it allows you to essentially summon like this avatar spirit thing, and it'll make attacks against people that you designate. But because it's verbal only, I would have Guardian of Faith. That's the one. But it's verbal only. So I was like, oh my god, can I just while I'm trapped here, speak these words? He's like, no, you can't do it. And I'm like, fuck. Come on! Like I took this spell specifically for if I ever got captured, and I could be like, nah, fuck you, you can't hold me, bitch.
I
Like in shackles, behind your back, they've taken everything. I'm like, kill.
I have a question. This can be answered through all of it. It doesn't have to be mind games.
Yeah.
What was your favorite fight that wasn't a big bad guy in all of your D&D experience? And I'll start my one off.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing a fighter in 5th edition.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my only 5th edition experiences early, because I was a very big 3.5 player at this time. And I was like, okay, am I able to build my 3.5 character but import him into like 5th edition in this game that my friend was playing? And he was like, yeah, sure, just letting you know you can't drag over any magical items and all that stuff, and the feat system's going to be very different. I'm like, that's fine. I'm just going to make it that he got lost through a portal and is just quickly going to find his way back. And it doesn't mean that it turns into a quest. He can just do the thing to help you guys and then leave. It's more experience for him, because the whole goal of him was to become the best sword fighter in the world. And so we were there, and I found out, and I went to help him, and I helped them through the Curse of Strahd. And funny enough, like I did the most damage out of all of them. And then my funniest one was when we got up to a Hydra.
Yeah.
So it's the first time I ever fought a Hydra. I'm like, that's mad. And I have a trait with the character where he was a dual wielder, but I would always just use one sword until the moment came. And I'm like, I need to push damage, pull out a second sword. Let's do this. It was like a little quirk that I had. So that way I was just never overshadowing anyone. And during this fight...
It's like Zorro in One Piece, where he just kind of like pulls out one sword, and he's like, yeah, okay, let's go. And then when they're like a bit too powerful, he's like, I'll find a second sword.
Yeah.
And then if they're still over, he's like, you know what, fine, 3 swords it is.
Yeah. So during it, watching the Barbarian go at it, and these players just were still like super new to D&D. Like, they had watched it and all that stuff, but it was just, they didn't know the things that I knew, but it was, like, not metagaming in a sense, because I'd never fought a Hydra before, so I was super excited. So they were doing it, and I'm like, yeah, look, this whole time through Curse of Strahd stuff, I've just been using one sword, I'm gonna use 2 now. So I pull out a second one, and I killed it. And everyone was like,
you can use 2 swords?
No, the biggest question that I got pointed at for was like, why didn't you fucking do that against Strahd? And I'm like, look,
I didn't need to.
we were doing our best already. We were doing awesome. And he's like, but it would have been faster, would have been downed and all that stuff. I'm like, hey, you're not the one who got thrown out. I got thrown out of a window, by the way. I had to do like a dex check to see if I could like flip it, like as throwing out, see if I can like hold on to part of the window sill as I flip around, and like sliced my hand open, and I just managed to do it through sheer willpower of a natural 20. But yeah, fighting a Hydra was really, really awesome, and it was definitely a different battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I assume this wasn't a what's it called, a Leogen Hydra or whatever?
No.
Or the heads back?
Yeah, it was.
It was one?
Yeah.
Oh shit,
That's
alright.
what Hydras do.
Well, not all of them.
No, in D&D, that's what they do.
No, like even in D&D, there's some that don't.
I've only
Yeah.
read the one Hydra that exists in that book.
Yeah. There is another Hydra
Oh.
that doesn't grow its heads back.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, this one had like every like so often round it regains health in the head.
Yeah.
So
I think it's something like it gains a new head after it heals 10 hit points or something.
something like that. But
Yeah,
if you
something
kill it, if
crazy.
you kill it fast enough, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's what I found out.
Stab it until it doesn't move.
So yeah, what about
So it always used to be in Wednesday group's strategy: hit it until it dies.
Oh,
Probably still is their strategy, isn't it?
yeah.
Hit it until it dies. Yeah.
It's a foolproof plan. Hit it until it dies.
I don't know about foolproof. We got this into a lot of trouble.
Did it die though? Well,
A couple times.
so what's
Yours. Either of yours.
Do you have one?
I do.
Feel free.
I had to just go back into the catalog of all the fights that I remember. And it was a bit hard, but I say probably the most funnest combat was me and Dylan against the Minotaur.
Oh, you guys. Okay, that's my game. I thought you were going to say something about the other games.
I was going through it, but there was a couple that were close, but I had but that one was really fun.
Where you fought the Minotaur.
They has a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
So, if watchers of the podcast remember, Blake, I believe, had mentioned this scenario where where my group antagonized these bandits of a town, and in return they shot a cannon at us.
I did. I think I said that last week, actually.
Yeah, and he mentioned that we fought them afterwards. So, to elaborate on that, my character and Dylan's character, Strix and
Morpheus.
Yeah, Morpheus, the two barbarians, were both rudely waken up by a cannon coming through the place where we slept. We were still alive, obviously, and we were very fucking pissed.
Hey, I built the building. That was
He did. He built a destroyed tavern, and that shit's cool.
He does that shit. It's awesome.
So we crawled ourselves out of that
That's
wreckage
what I was doing over there.
and just crusaded our way to to eventually to the Minotaur, and we just challenged him to fight. Us two, we're hurt. You're not. It's an equal fight.
Kind of. No. So what happened?
What?
I think you you skipped a full part. What happened was that your brother actually just murdered everyone that was coming through. You've never seen a sorcerer be so creative and so destructive in your life. Like, as I told you, hey, how about we telekinesis this part and you literally the force.
Yeah.
Thrown at you. Oh, you're all narrow coming in. How about I just cast basically an acid version of Fireball at all these things and knocking them out and stuff. And holding the fort until you guys got up. It was just crazy. And then you guys got up. And then after you guys did that, you captured one of the hobgoblins.
Right. Shit, I forgot about that.
And then you guys took him back, and none of you actually did insight checks to understand that he was deceiving you, that he understood the actual perimeter that they'll be captured. And I remember all of you going how did they know we were here? And it's because he went to yell, but you all stopped him. And then they're how did we know, how did they know we were here? And it's you're not that far from the camp. You're in their perimeter. It's the Wednesday party when they're traveling through and they're 4 hours away. They're 6 hours away from the other camp. And there's gnolls watching them in the fox constantly. So obviously they know there's a group in there that scouts.
Yeah.
So, but that's what happened. So you guys got captured and you went quietly, except for one of the other players. She decided to go invisible and run away to try and do a rescue mission to get up. And I'm this could work. This could really work. Not the way that she was going about it. I tried everything in my head to go, how can I make this work without making everyone here look stupid? I can't. So, you guys went into the camp and met the Rakshasa.
Right.
And you guys had something to eat, some tea.
It was
And
a very civil conversation.
it was, because he was talking about, he was just civilized, asking why. Why did you, floor these plans and stuff like that? And then you guys spoke about how a cannon got shot because of the Minotaur. So he offered it as, a punishment for the Minotaur for losing, and something for you guys for retribution was he nominated one of you guys, I think it was Morpheus, or you, to fight him.
Yeah.
But you could, and to make things more on your side, you could have one more person join.
And then the two barbarians were chosen. And oh my god.
So there was a rule that you couldn't use your weapons. It had to be hand-to-hand combat. But that was when I wasn't doing just flat rolls, like flat strength.
Yeah.
I was doing a D4.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
So yeah, two of you action economy beat the crap out of them like Minotaur.
It
Yeah.
was fun. We just wailed on him like fucking no tomorrow. Because we were still hurt by this time, I think.
Yeah, you had a short rest on the way.
Yeah, short rest wasn't everything, but shit, man, we kept screaming back and forth. We just tried. We put everything into it, and then when we won, we was like, yeah, we won, bitch.
Yeah, well the thing was, when you guys take half damage against a monk, like the monk has to keep up with the not just the action economy, but like the attrition.
Yeah. Was this the monk? The
Yeah, that Alex slapped. It was the
yeah.
same
Okay.
one.
Yeah. Cool.
They didn't kill him. They
Okay.
just beat
They just beat him up.
They just
Yeah,
beat
okay.
him up.
Funny.
We
Funny.
wanted that victory over him.
And then so everything was going fine. Like you guys weren't getting captured. Everything seemed civil and fine. Then one of the other players who went invisible rolled like a 3 on the stealth and got captured. And then they tried to break her out. And then they got noticed because they rolled real bad on their stealth. So then, and then, so they all got captured at that point for trying to break out a prisoner. Instead of just talking, be like, hey, she's with us.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that, they just went the extra mile and break her out. Sometimes I just wonder what goes through the player's head
It's
and go, why don't you try the simple thing first? Because simple thing
Yeah.
exists.
yeah. I think it's when you get into that situation, you're like, okay, so even though things are civil right now, they are still enemies. They're not just gonna give up and that's just the
Yeah, but it's no
the
harm
thought
in
process
trying.
that you fall into. But we've done it plenty of times. Like old Wednesday group, we'd get into a situation. At the end of it, you go, "Why don't you just talk to them?" Well, because they tried to fight us last time.
That's
so
currently. So
fight 'em.
I understand when it comes to the point of my players used to have to whisper, and I said, if I can hear you loud and clear, so can the NPC.
Yeah.
So they would have to whisper until they realized they could just do this.
So we got
Little
magic
action.
rings that allowed us to speak telepathically.
Yeah.
So we would
You didn't have that.
we'd make that hand gesture to say the ring on the first finger and holding on to it to focus our thoughts through.
So that meant metagame, they're talking through them.
Yeah.
Their minds. And then
just so we didn't have to go through the ring
yeah.
and then start
Yeah.
speaking.
There was also a point, and now they're trying to whisper, and so I don't hear them.
Yeah.
And I have to remind them, because it is a natural thing they've remembered now, I have to remind them to say, hey, you don't have to whisper. The mics won't pick you up.
Yeah.
It means the people are listening to dead air, so
And
we can talk
especially
aloud.
when we're okay, so we're gonna get real
The
close.
plan to be
microphone.
secret for
So-
him.
Whisper,
So,
but they
yeah,
can't hear
Thank
us.
you.
So yeah, the way I say is now is that you state, I'm going to whisper this to the party, then do your said thing.
Yeah.
So that way you've obviously stated it. If you don't state it, then
Then you're just speaking.
Yeah.
and and another thing that everyone's got to get used to is this ain't like the first campaign.
No, not at all.
This ain't our first campaign was very you were always on the losing end, and you
Yeah.
had to crawl your way back up every time.
Yeah.
I don't think there was many times where you were the ones who were the threat to begin with.
Yeah.
Um,
We were always chasing the bigger threat.
but this game's very different.
Yeah.
Very, very different. Like, the Hill Giant thing, you technically didn't have to do it.
Yeah, I know. We could have just left town.
Yeah. You would have dealt with this current thing.
Yeah. But my character specifically had something to gain.
Yeah.
From this town and from doing it and be like, right, now you'll listen to me.
Yeah.
So.
But another thing as well is that with this current thing you're doing, literally no reason to do it.
Yeah. We can just leave.
You can just leave. Half the reason you guys are doing it, I believe, is to level up.
I kind of perceived it as it's just morally the right thing
Yeah.
to do.
That too. But
So, like, when you think about it, I think, like, Maddie's character is in it for the glory. Zephyr specifically is in it for, I'm here to protect people.
I'm proving that.
I'm proving that I am good.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I'm just the old dude that's like, yeah, alright, fine, let's fight it, because you want to fight it. And Hex is like, it's the right thing.
Not quite. He's more like, it's the right thing. Because I referenced this in the previous podcast, where Hex, previous 2 combats, got the shit beat out of him.
Yeah.
And his view on combat is not the greatest because he keeps getting hurt and other people getting hurt.
Yeah.
Hey, you have a ranged attack now.
I do!
But it's also like you standing there going, I don't have to fight this because I could get really hurt, but
Yeah.
these people are getting hurt, and they have been getting hurt the whole time, and I don't want them going through what I've been going through. It's like, it's the moral high ground that you're holding, and you're like, but I have to do it.
He understands that he could leave,
Yeah.
but he sees that you guys want to help as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'll help. If everything goes well in this combat, he'll continue on with that kind of outlook. It's like, could get hurt, but helping the people's more profitable. And if we get our shit kicked in, he's not going to want to fight.
Yeah. Oh, dude, if we get our shit kicked in this time, I don't think we're walking away from it.
Not this thing. No, this
No.
thing is like very savage.
Yeah.
So is the giant, but the giant was like,
Blinded.
Stupid.
yeah. This thing is like not.
No.
Oh, it is, but it's not.
I mean, like, it's smart enough to be surveying the guard tower because it can't see in.
Suppose we'll
And,
see
like,
what
walking laps around it and trying to figure out what's going on with it and what it can get out of it. So it's not dumb.
I have a question. Do you know like why it's just randomly popped up? Have you like put the pieces together yet?
Not particularly.
Oh.
Nope.
So it's been attacking for 7 days.
Yeah.
This is technically the 8th.
Yep.
In World Game, what had started 8 days ago?
Winter.
Winter.
Yeah.
So
It's
it
like, so it's like trying to, like, get ready to hibernate?
pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
So it's eating.
It's like a
enough.
bear.
So it pretty much had because
It's
trolls
stocking
are
stores, yeah.
pretty much trolls are in like lore wise they're not dumb. Like they are,
Yeah.
but they're not, and they do mercenary work and stuff for like goblins and shit.
Yeah.
And giants.
Yeah.
But there are some that are actually just feral.
Yeah.
So this is a feral one. It's one where you can't speak to it.
Yeah.
That's why when it was speaking, it was more like screeching.
Yeah.
And I just want this campaign is very dark compared to the first one.
It's very gritty,
Yeah.
but it's not like
It's not grim dark.
constant threats being thrown at us. We move towards whatever threat we
That's the biggest
wanting
difference with this
to
campaign
take
and the
on.
last one was
Yeah.
that you are moving towards them,
Yeah.
so you have the choice on them.
Yeah.
Literally, you've had the choice on every fight you've had so far.
Yeah.
Because your first, by the way, you got the spell wrong that you first casted. It wasn't the fog one.
Oh,
Oh.
it was friends.
Oh.
On the guys. that
Remember
were picking you.
when you were getting picked on?
Right.
Even I forgot about that.
So you guys would have had a hot wing.
Yeah, but I'm tempted to, if I'm sitting there, just get all of them wrong so I can have all the hot wings.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty tempted too. Oh hell yeah, hot wings.
But
Man,
it's like
I ate a
what
ghost
gold
pepper.
will count.
Yeah,
do you
it'll
think?
probably hurt like hell, but shit, man, at least I could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it? It's like there's like 3 things you can do, which is like death save, or like death save, or you can do a other things as well. But one of the death saves is like you can roll, and if you roll above 10, you actually don't have to have the hot sauce.
Okay.
You can just not have a wing, and it's like you passed.
Yeah, okay.
That's pretty cool.
That's
But
pretty
if you
funny, I like
fail,
that.
but if you fail, you have to go, because when you fail, you usually have to have it, but you have to skip the one you were currently on and move up one.
Yeah.
So it's like you could have been at the first.
Dude, I'm getting ready for these wings, eh?
So but yeah,
Alright, well, I have a story of a fight,
yeah. Well, it was
and it's
your
not
turn.
from 5th Ed. It's from a 3.5 campaign.
No, there's only like one big thing that you fought in that campaign.
There were. So, there's 2 of them. So, the first 2 times that we did quick time,
They were against a big bad guy. One of them wasn't.
We didn't know it at first.
One of them wasn't.
So I don't really count it. That's why I kind of picked 2. Because one of them's a dragon, which wasn't really a big bad.
No.
It was just something that we faced for the quest we were doing. But the other one against the technical big bad that we would be facing later, that was one of the most interesting fights that we've ever done. And it being one of the first quick time, I think it was the first quick time we ever did, just it left that taste in my mouth of like, I just want more.
Like, you're not used to QuickTime. I didn't do it much with you.
Oh,
But
bro,
if
wait
you want to
for it.
know the way QuickTime worked, was they were all yelling at me.
Yeah.
Like,
He literally said to us, okay, so we're going to be doing something called quick time. So the way it's going to work is when you have an action you want to do, you call it out. If you don't say anything, you're not doing anything. So we're all like, I'm taking a swim with my sword, and then the next person's like, I'm gonna like slide over because I'm being currently held by this
and the
person.
person
I'm
has
gonna
to like
smack him
roll
in the
against
face and
both
run
of them and
slide.
see what happens and what
Oh.
doesn't, and that's what it
It
was.
was all contested rolls. It
I
was,
think I played through one of
It
those
was so chaotic.
early versions of
Yeah.
Event.
but it was
We also
so
did
chaotic.
stream it, yeah.
It was so fun.
Yeah, QuickTime is so different because as someone who wouldn't have high AC, you actually have a chance of just dodging attacks or blocking them.
Yeah.
Um,
Or if the opponent had a really high AC because it was contested rolls,
Yeah.
you had a chance to hit them because
you just nominate for you to take the hit,
yeah,
and you just roll damage.
yeah.
So there's no rolls against each other. Like you are like, I'm taking this hit to hit back.
Yes. But I think the dragon had one of my favorite like points in a fight, which was when it started flying. So myself and Alex specifically kept launching each other up into the air with weapons. So we like literally I was playing a barbarian, he was playing a bard, but he kept going into combat, so he had his arm cut off.
Mm-hmm.
He was given a prosthetic like metal arm, so he had like a whole lot of strength in that one. So we'd launch each other into the air at the dragon, holding both of our swords. We'd like dual wield each other's swords and then throw them to the other person
That's cool.
and like launch them up. And we'd come back down, give them over, and launch the other one up. So that was the most fun because there was so many checks in between it all, and it was such a dynamic combat. It wasn't just everyone circle around the bad guy and let's hit it.
Yeah, but also that had a quick time in it as well.
It did.
So the way that quick time happened is, which you will see.
Soon
Prob-
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, you will.
probably next session actually.
Probably.
Is where
It's usually
it starts.
against a big kind of an enemy.
It starts with quick time, and then slides into initiative. It's where this is your chance to add the damage now
Yeah.
to make the fight easier for you, but also more cinematic. Get yourself pumped for it, and then roll initiative. That's where you get to notice this, like the way it fights.
Yeah. And it also just gives you a lot of opportunity to kind of like play around with what you're doing. Because depending on what it is, you may normally need a check for something, but you might not use one in quick time because we're trying to keep everything flowing so quickly. So you're like, all right, well, and you get like really descriptive with your attacks and with your tactics, and it gets you really in the flow of describing everything you're doing.
One of the
That's
best ways for me to do quick time with anyone who's never done it is usually a tavern fight.
Yeah.
Because it's the one way.
Oh, we used to quick time in taverns all the time.
You guys used to start it.
We used to start fights in
you could
pubs
just
so we could do quick time. It was awesome.
Because quick time was originally made to be a combat system I was making for my own RPG at the time.
Yeah.
And I loved the concept so much that I actually just kept it, which is, it's this simple. You would roll to do an attack, and I could test the roll with one of three options. I roll a strength check, adding my strength modifier to block it. I roll the dex to dodge it, or I just roll down, take the hit, and roll damage against you.
Yeah.
So that way. And what that said was, the strength characters, they can parry the bloody weapon and knock it away if they roll better than you.
Yeah.
Natural ones don't mean much because what Jordan did, a natural, 2 rolled for, roll to hit and roll, to dodge. Both were natural ones. So the way I had it was, his punishment was he fell over, but the Knoll's punishment was that it still got hit.
Yeah.
So it went and just squashed its head because there was enough damage to kill it.
I remember hearing that. He's like, natural 1. You're like, yeah, natural 1. So you slip over, and as you do, you lose control of your hammer. But as it also falls over, your hammer lands on its head. Roll damage. He's like, wait, what?
Now ones are as fun as
It
natural
was so
ones.
funny.
Oh, last session on Wednesday, I died. There's a point in it that I just cannot stop laughing. It was just
I
because
didn't say it.
I'll show you.
I
I'll
can't
show you
wait
the
for it
point.
to
I
come
know
up.
the second.
I just can't wait for the
on
episode
the
to
screen.
come up.
I know the
saying
exact
it was really good.
seconds for you to click to
Right.
watch it.
Amazing.
And it's like the whole these aren't my pants moment. It's one of those things where it just murdered me. Because Kat's talking and she's going on about a dream she had. And she's like, I didn't really get much of it because you were talking too fast and I wasn't writing it down fast enough. But yeah, and she's going, and I'm like, okay, well, she was asking someone about can you tell me what this dream would mean? And she's saying that, and she's rolling a history check to remember. And she physically only remembers a little bit. A little bit, she knows she remembered all of it.
Yeah.
But just the minor details, which
Because it
weren't
wasn't a
too
very
big.
big dream.
No.
But
And then she's going on about it, and then she's like, so yeah, that's why I didn't remember. Okay, and then she rolls. Within a second, she goes, "Fuck, it's a natural 1." And it got to the point where we're all laughing, and I'm telling her, and I'm like, "You just can't remember it." And then you just watch me start dying.
you're like, you just got everything.
Yeah, it's just the way it turned around and said it
Yeah.
was just comedic gold to me.
Yeah. It's like, oh, amazing.
Yeah, I was dying. I'm like, there's no way that just happened.
Yeah, actually, I watched that stream.
Mm.
I remember that. I also remember part of what the dream was about.
Oh, did you?
And hang on a minute. I do remember that. That was fucking hilarious.
You're just trying to figure out what the dream's about.
I listened to it. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Oh, do you even understand what the dream is?
I understand that there's a tiefling with silver hair and then with a thick kid, and then that's what not because she was very quiet with the mic.
That's pretty much all it was.
Yeah.
And it's why is this being
It was
dressed
just a very, very, very short, quick
vague
dream
dream?
sequence. Like, it was just,
dream.
yeah.
So yeah,
It's hard to remember.
so
It was very funny. She's like, I just don't remember, okay? This is all I remember. And rolls it nat ones, and he's like, I'm going to tell you don't remember anything else, but if you nat 20'd, I'd tell you don't remember anything else. Because that was the whole dream. You remembered it. The check itself was relevant until she started spouting off what she remembered. And he's like, Well, if you'd said that first, I wouldn't have even made you roll. I would have just said, yeah,
No,
that's it.
No, it wasn't even it. She just asked if she could roll.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
it was like Rob spoke about doing something and he just rolled, and I go,
What's wrong?
I didn't give you the green light to roll, man.
Yeah,
You might not need to roll for that.
yeah.
And the
And
thing,
now that you have, and you've fucked it up.
they did something really funny because you guys have your plans and they're cohesive and you talk about it. With them, they made a plan, and I zoned out.
Oh yeah.
So that way I didn't. If I heard some of the plan, it wasn't all the plan. So I zoned out, and then after I said, "All right, what are you guys doing?" Realized I shouldn't do that again
Yeah.
because man, this is what happened.
Jordan was telling me about that.
Because this is what happened. I go, so what are you guys doing? And I drew the layout for Kat. And man, she just didn't explain what they wanted to do. So I said, okay, turn to Arthur, and I said, what's the plan? And he goes, oh, I'm going to go over here. Okay, cool. Kat, what's the plan? And then she's like, oh, I'm going to take him back to the cave entrance. I'm like, cool. Rob, what's the plan? And then he's like, I don't know. And then I asked Jordan, and then Jordan looked at me and told me everything.
Yeah.
Like, literally to the detail. I was like, that's not what I was more or less asking. I was asking, like, do you want to be placed somewhere, and do you want to wait for something?
Yeah.
Don't tell me the full outcome you want to do.
Yeah.
And, yeah. It was like when,
So he was telling me about that. He was saying that he was getting frustrated because everyone was like, this is completely different to what we had spoken about, but this is what I'm saying. And because everyone's saying, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Because all 3 accounts I've gotten of this plan have been completely different. He's like, fuck this, I'm just going to tell you the whole fucking plan so you know what the plan is, you can put us where we need to go, and...
yeah.
What happened? That's literally what he was saying to me. He's like, you know what? I'm done. This is the plan. Put us in a place that'll make this fucking happen. Because apparently these people didn't listen to the plan that they were helping make. Yeah.
Pretty much. And, yeah, it's like I had to... Yeah, I had to explain to him bits and pieces. Because, it's really weird because I won't set up battlefields anymore.
Yeah.
Unless it's going to be used.
Yeah.
Unless you come up to the combat, I'm going to use it. Because when it comes to, like, them going, oh, I wish I saw a real representation. I'm like, yeah, just for me to set it up for you to look at it for 10 minutes with no combat either.
Yeah.
Just for me to undo it so I can get Friday ready.
Yeah.
I'm like, my god.
Yeah, look, you've really spoilt us with all these projects you've been doing in words, creating the world in models.
You mean terrain?
That's the word.
Yes.
Bro, it is midnight, alright?
Wait, really?
Yeah. Apparently we've been talking for an hour since he was like
Hell yeah.
talking about how
Content.
Dylan ruined Barracus in the last... Yeah, it's been an hour.
Looks it.
Oh.
So, what would be your hardest non-BBG fight?
The first time around, mind you, not the second time. First time. Fuck.
No, I mean, like, obviously that's level 1. I mean,
Oh.
one that presented a real challenge that you could win.
The flesh god.
Nah, second time around, we stormed it pretty quickly because we knew what we were doing at that point. Also, we knew where all the cheat codes were. Other words, magic items.
Flame tongue, yes.
Yeah, flame tongue, that was very handy. Such a challenging fight, but one we could still win.
Yeah, so one that was winnable, but it was not easy. Like, really not easy.
PvP's pretty close. Win.
Like,
Jake.
non-bad, like, big bad guy fight.
Oh, you thought it was his BBG.
Oh,
Kind of. Like,
Aw.
a battle accounts,
I'm a big boy.
yeah, the battle is just a demon.
Yeah.
The
the bad guy of your
The necromancer.
yeah, he had a Dragovich.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
A Bella's just a demon. You know, it's just that thing in the Lord of the Rings that Gandalf was like, all of you get the fuck out of here.
Right,
This thing's
nature!
fucked.
Said he had to work with hobbits and the guy. We had two barbarians and a couple sorcerers and magic.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a Balor. I don't really care.
The Nelfish name.
Oh, the Nelfish name.
Oh, you fought one of those too.
Yeah.
You
Nice.
didn't remember that one, did you?
Well, I remembered it, but it's just
Who remembers that name though?
Because we kind of beat the shit out of it.
But who remembers that name though? You're like, yeah, that's called the Nelvish name. Everyone's like, yeah, cool. It's just that big thing that's on the battlefield that we're about to fucking pummel.
Do you have one?
Nelfish name's a fun
I
word.
don't know. I feel like a lot of our fights just ended up like they might have in the moment been like, oh shit, what's about to happen? But like in the grand scheme, I feel like we just kind of murder herb out away through everything that just kind of
You kicked everything's ass.
we did.
It was to the point where every other party was like, why are the fights getting harder? And it's
Yeah.
like, because these guys set an example that you can handle more.
Yeah.
We-
So like I feel like we didn't have any like hard fights. There were things that would come up and we were like, oh shit, no. Like as it was happening because it would be that you would have them use an ability that we didn't know about. And we're like, oh fuck, like this thing's like stronger than we thought it was. But then after we go, alright, well I guess we just gotta like kick up the gear a little bit and stop just using level 1 spell slots, and then we just like kick its ass anyway. I'm like, okay, never mind.
Do you? I just remembered actually. Do you remember when Barracus trained you to be like a proper barbarian?
Yeah.
And you almost beat the shit out of your whole entire party.
Almost.
That's funny. That's
They,
funny.
they like retreated.
That trick. So, during our employment under Barracus, or with Barracus, depending on your output of it, we had this little team bonding exercise. First time around, was it first time around it was us versus Barracus, or was it the second time?
First time around it was you versus them. Then
So,
the time around it was them versus like.
yeah, so first time around, as a training exercise, my character versus the other characters, and this was the first.
Including the other barbarian?
No, this
Okay.
was first one. So there was two sorcerers and
Yeah.
Rogue.
Oh,
And the
oh,
bard.
yeah.
So it was the four of them against me.
Yeah, okay.
And I was given Barracus's dual scimitars because I was testing, I was doing a bit differently.
Yeah.
I ran at them immediately.
Amazing.
Because I knew if I got up to one of those sorcerers, I would fucking destroy them.
Amazing.
And they were right.
Amazing.
And they knew to fear me. Because one of them immediately flew up out of my range. I was like, well, I can't get you. And
But
the
I
other
can
one
get you.
No, the other one ran. Because they had boots of speed.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
I was forced to fight the martial classes.
Yeah.
And I stood up, I stood for a good while. And I was getting close, but eventually I got taken down.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
And-
like Action Economy got him.
yeah.
It was pointed out
That's
that
funny though.
if the sorcerers hadn't been able to get away from me, I probably
Because I assume that they got out of your range and just peppered you from afar. Yeah.
Yeah, but he could have won.
Yeah.
That was the point.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
because when the martial
like-
classes got up, the rest of the other classes could keep getting him.
Yeah. But like at that point, it's literally the argument of a level like what 6 ranger with boots of flying can kill a Tarask. Like
See, I was
if it can't get to you and it can't hit you and you can stay and you just keep peppering it infinitely, you'll always kill it because it can never get to you, so it can never do anything.
That's in every video
Like
game.
that's literally just how that works. So like I'm kind of impressed.
But also not just that too. In his in that same session, he was like, okay, now what we're gonna do is a training exercise, and this is one where I got out and walked away,
Hmm.
and I said, wait, you guys need to come up with a plan to beat me,
it was the group versus Barracus.
Nice.
just as a sparring match,
Yeah.
and so they can get some team exercising in. They did the worst thing I've ever seen in the bloody world.
What?
We
What did you
crowded.
Is what?
We crowded.
Yeah.
We made the mistake of sticking together.
Yeah.
They made a formation within 10-foot square of each other.
Okay.
So he's like, web.
Yeah, we were stuck.
He had Jordan's
The cloak?
yeah.
Oh, that's
And thus,
funny.
and thus began the
Oh,
Astral
man.
And then he walks into it
That's funny as.
because it was strength checks to get out. There was
Yeah.
only one strength character,
Yeah.
and he was in like the middle of it, and it's like 40 foot. So
That's
anyway,
so good.
so Barracus walks like
Because
to it because it says that he's unaffected.
Yeah,
by
it's the cloak.
Arachnid.
Of, yeah,
something like that.
Arachnia cloak or
So
something.
he literally walked up to like the characters and started doing this, like slapping him. And he walked up to one of the like sorcerers and just punched her in the stomach and like did enough
Cloak
damage.
of Arachnida.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and made her unconscious.
Yeah.
And then they finally broke out, and then he's like, "That's enough. Like
That's
you guys
funny,
have
yeah.
already lost this fight."
That's so good.
I remember, if I remember correctly, Barracus walked past my character and like, hey Barracus. As I was stuck in the way. I was wondering, is he gonna stop
I love
and punch the shit out of me, or is he gonna keep going? And he kept going. I was like, "Oh."
That's
Well,
so
it's funny
good.
too, because your character, to every person you met, you never presented yourself to be better than you were.
Mm.
That's why, like no one, like Marcus liked no one, but he liked you. Because you were a simple guy that could actually beat the crap out of things, and he would just say, "All right, big man."
I think that story really shows just how good Web is.
Oh yeah.
As
It's
a spell?
It's a second level spell.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's only level 2.
We also learned
It's so crazy.
Yeah, but they learned the important lesson.
don't clump up.
yeah,
Don't clump
And
up.
I don't think we
Spread
ever
out.
yeah.
Yeah, that was the big lesson.
we made sure to keep that in mind.
Except
See, our group would clump up.
when you guys were in the final fight with him,
Eh,
because they were like little hints.
Yeah.
They were all that whole training sequence was little hints. Like I think I even said it to you at one point before you got in. I'm like, you guys are the biggest advantage against him.
We
Yeah.
did before.
You need to remember what he taught you.
yeah.
You know what happened? It got to about 8 people who surrounded him, and he's like, "Oh, you remember how I slapped the staff on the ground to knock down the building?
Yeah.
Well, you're all
I'm
around
gonna
me."
do it again.
And then Arthur's like, "Oh, natural 20 on my saving throw," and I'm like,
Cool, so you take half damage.
"No," I was like, "Lucky." And because everyone had been doing it to me, and I was holding them.
yeah.
I wasn't just using them because everyone was like, "Oh, lucky," or this and this. No, I saved them for when I
Yeah.
knew I needed it. And then Arthur's like, "Oh, rolls again," and I'm like, "This is a lightning attack. You went full plate, my dude.
Oh.
I'm gonna double the damage against you,"
Yeah.
which was double the dice, not the damage.
Yeah.
That's the way I did it because it was fair. If you double the damage,
Yeah, of course.
And then it knocked the healer down. And I'm like,
Oh.
and I remember that was the time that the guy who was playing Magpie turned, and he's like, "They lose this fight
Mm.
because they're the best healer in the group just got put down."
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I think this is actually where the story will end.
Mm.
Because that I originally, funny enough, because I didn't have Grazit planned at all. I had like a Loth thing planned,
Yeah.
but you
That was the
guys,
original
you guys
plan,
weren't
yes.
like fully like going for it. So the fight, like the whole campaign, was probably just going to end at Barracus at one point.
Mm.
I thought about it because I'm like, they're in their like level 10s now. So
Like it's literally the point where a lot of campaigns, even if they do go long, will end around there. Not a lot of campaigns get up to level 17 where we were.
well, that was meant to be the bittersweet thing that you
Yeah.
guys, you got saved and all this stuff, and I'm like,
It would have made a lot of sense.
because Delvin's dead, Nylia's dead,
Yeah.
or the Wednesday party, most of them were dead.
The
But-
original
Yeah.
group, yeah.
And then for you guys, it would have been able to start a new story in a new world, and then Friday could do something.
Yeah.
But I thought about it, and I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna end it. Not yet. Not after. Do you know what made me not end it there? Was seeing how much fun one player was having with a character. Because I've never seen him have that much fun before.
Bang.
Yeah. Again, he's popped up in the conversation, but it was that's all.
I'm telling you, Bang is the best character, and no one will ever beat Bang.
Yeah, Goblin Gunslinger.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
But it's not because he was a goblin or because he was a gunslinger.
I remember when we came up.
Bang.
I remember.
Because he was Rob impersonated fully into a character.
I remember when I first came up with the concept of Bang, actually.
Yeah.
Because did Rob ever tell you that I created Bang?
No.
Yeah, I did. I didn't name him. He named him.
Yeah.
So what happened was we were talking. Someone died. He's trying to figure it out, and he goes, "Oh, I should roll another bad guy." I'm like, "Yeah, no. We're currently in the midst of dealing with your one already."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, you're right." So we're sitting there, we're thinking, we're trying to figure out a lot of things. He's like barbarian and all this stuff, and he's like, "Maybe I'll go a druid again." I'm like, "No, try something different." And then he's like,
Well, Bellthorn was a ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was thinking about going into druid.
Okay.
Because he'd done it before in 3.5.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So then we're talking, and then I said to him, I go, instead of like, you play this character really weird, you try to be like super serious, and there was times where like you over tried.
Yeah.
And I said, why don't you just try and act stupid? And he's like, because I don't want to be seen as a stupid character. Like, I don't want to be a barbarian and be seen as stupid.
Yeah.
You know? There's nothing that lets me do it except for that. And I go,
Oh,
what happened? What do you think about playing a goblin? And he goes,
What do you mean?
yeah, that's literally it. What do you mean play a goblin? And then he was like, you can do that? And I'm like, have you actually read Volos? Or have you just read up to the play races? If you literally go past into monstrous races, that is, like, you can play.
Yeah.
And then he read Goblin. And then I brought up the concept. And it wasn't Gunslinger at first. It was Wizard.
Oh god.
Yeah.
We were talking about it. Because Arthur died.
Yeah.
So we were talking about once if he plays a wizard, so he can be the mage of the party.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, goblin wizard, and you just play like pranks and you do big flashy spells and you explode and you laugh about it and blah blah blah, yada. And then we're like thinking about it, and then he goes, I don't want to play a caster because it's too much thought. And I'm like, that's fair enough. Barbarian would be funny, and he goes, yeah, and that's originally where Whack.
Where he
became
originally
a
wanted to
thing.
go, where he wanted to go with it.
And
yeah.
then I'm like, you could technically test something if you want, because I've already got another player testing another class made. And he's like, oh, what are they testing? I'm like, Blood Hunter. And that's what Jordan ended up picking anyway.
Yeah.
And then he goes, what's the class? I'm like, hey, you ever heard of a gunslinger? And he's like, what? And I'm like, get this, you're a fighter class, but you have guns. And he goes,
It's
I'm
essentially a battle master.
yeah, pretty much.
But specialized for shooting things.
It's a worse battle
it's-
master.
Yeah.
You have to constantly repair your weapon.
Oh, it's so funny. He had to do that so many times.
He literally became a bard just to take the mending spell.
And then kept forgetting that he could do it and kept trying to do his tinker checks to fix it and kept failing
He
it.
didn't
and
have
like
enough
just throwing it.
intelligence to actually
Oh,
pull
it
it
was
off.
so funny.
So then I'm like, because the goblin pulls off the fact that you're dumb.
Yeah.
Like, naturally, it's fine. But you've never played a fighter, but you've also never used guns in D&D. You'd be the first person. And then he's like, let's do it. And then one day, he messaged me. And he was talking about, imagine if he got the broom, he'd be this like little goblin with guns on a broom. And I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like, bloody bang bang boomerang.
Boomerang.
Yeah, no, he said boomerang at the start.
Okay.
He's like, bang, bang, boomerang. And I'm like, did you just name your character? And he's like, what, bang, bang? And I'm like, and I didn't even get to reply to him. And he's like, what, bang, bang? Yes. The separate text was, bang, bang, question mark? Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think he had a thought. He like read it out loud. He said, bang, bang. And he said, yes.
Yes.
That is my goblin's name. Do you know his backstory?
No.
Yeah, the goblin tribe he was with raided and killed a carriage. He found a gun, accidentally shot it, killed one of the goblins. He laughed, and then killed everyone else.
Oh my
With the
god.
guns.
He literally just shot his entire clan.
Yeah.
That's fucking horrifying.
That's why when he had the bullets, he walks up to your grave and he says, say hello to the family.
Oh.
When he dropped the bullets. That was literally what it was.
But it was just so funny.
Oh.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because it was just a game to him. Oh, it was so funny. That actually, that was one of the things that really like got me emotionally when he dropped bullets on my grave.
Yeah.
Because like, Bang as a character was just so chaotic, but like also just really silly and didn't take anything seriously. And when he went out of his way to like leave bullets that he'd never get to fire on my grave, I was like, oh my god.
Here's the thing. So you remember how you guys owned a boat for a little bit? Yeah. How did it feel like having their old boat?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The boat that was stolen from us.
Yeah.
Did we steal their boat?
You did. So if you didn't know that, and if Jordan didn't know
I
that,
did.
yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yes, this group stole your boat.
Yeah.
We took your boat.
Yeah.
We did.
Oh, we got a bigger boat. We got several boats actually.
But the boat they stole, they never found out, but it had the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was money on that thing.
Oh, there was a
10,000
lot of money on that ship.
Where?
That was in the bottom
In
deck.
the hole.
Oh,
It was hidden in the hole.
it was hidden. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
Because we put it down there, but we were like, okay, but if someone like comes on the boat when we're like off doing something, we don't want to just walk down there and there's this giant fucking sacks of gold sitting right there. Like, so we hid it within the hole.
Fair enough. I can't remember exactly. How did we crew that boat?
It was empty. It was on a dock, empty,
There, and we took it.
God damn it.
just there, and they took
God
it.
damn it.
Oh, hey, a boat.
And remember when you guys went back, and you're like,
Where the
Where's
fuck
it?
is that boat? So we did that, and then after that we
oh, there was always someone on the boat after that. Like,
Yeah.
when you got the new boat,
Yeah.
no one was, the boat was never
it was never left. Yeah, we got another like temporary boat.
Yeah, and then it got
And
destroyed, and then you got flung, and, well, they got flung.
No, they got flung. Rob and Arthur
And
and Jordan got flung, and we took there's still the temporary boat. It was like basically sinking, and we were making it just work enough to get to Teferi's Island.
hey, at the end it got made.
And then, yeah, in the end, we ended up getting a boat from Ferry.
Nice.
With like a big ass fucking cannon on the back of it.
Yeah, it had a forge and everything in it.
Oh yeah, straight up. Like,
boat.
it was a massive fucking thing.
It had
like,
a forge
working
at the
forge.
bottom.
On the boat. Yeah. It was sick.
And then it blew up.
It
Ah.
did.
Because a Balor,
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about that.
yeah, they had 40 kegs of alcohol. And when a Balor, walks, everything around it's going to start burning.
Yeah.
So everything started to burn. But the good thing was Zed wasn't with you. He was with them. And then you guys thought he died.
Yes. Can't remember why we thought he died.
Because you guys,
he was-
shit went down.
Yeah, he was on the boat, and the last thing we knew, he was in his room, and no one could get in there to warn him.
And you and Alex tried swimming down.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you casted a spell to be able to breathe underwater for a while.
Nah, I didn't have any spells like
Oh.
that. I We were just making checks. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you were. And it was getting harder and harder, and
Yeah.
you're like, I've got to.
We were making
And
the
then
checks.
then Alex was like, I am faster and stronger at doing this than you, so I'm just gonna grab you.
Yeah.
And then he just pulled it up. He's like, no. And then you heard from him.
When we went up, no, I put my ring back on.
Mm.
I was like, okay, I'm running out of air, and I put my ring of water walking back on. It just like, it basically like deposits you on top of the water. I was like, shit. So because I was standing on top of the water when it left, not like when I went down, and I took the ring off and just held it as I was swimming, so that if anything happened, I could slip the ring back on and it would pull me back to the top.
So you didn't actually have to deal with this, but you probably heard about it. Because there was twice the library in the sand was found.
Ah.
You remember the desert?
Yeah.
The like one where you could literally loop.
Oh yeah. I was
It
thinking
was
library
a pocket.
sand.
It was a pocket dimension.
That was fun. That was
Yeah.
scary but fun.
It's where you met Io.
Yes.
Uh,
It's where
you came back to life.
Adina and Agan turned.
That's where they came back to life.
Nice.
It's also where the evil characters left to join Grazza.
Yeah.
And oh my god, that was planned.
Yes.
But what came next was not. When Alex turned around and was agreeing.
Oh, he nearly came with us. Yeah.
And I'm like, Alex, you don't know what
Please
you're about
don't
to do.
do that.
If you do this,
The campaign ends for you.
you are bad, and we'll see you at the end.
Yeah.
He
He straight up really came with us.
Yeah, luckily he didn't.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you want to know what that did, that the air and the tension in the room was so horrible to be in. I
Oh.
was so proud
Yeah.
of what had happened that they felt like they got betrayed by their real life friends.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, I was gonna tell the story as like my story with Soul, because like everyone felt the same, but Arthur like literally had like almost hatred in his eyes while he was looking at us.
Oh yeah.
Like, he was like, "Are you fucking serious? You can't do this." Like, no, I'm not letting it happen. Fuck off. And we left. And he just looked at it. He's like, "I can't fucking believe you did this. How dare you?" Right. And he's just like, "Look, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave because you aren't here anymore."
No.
Damn.
So like,
I had to
and
do that
we
to
left.
stop
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. It was stupid. Like the air in that room was. Fucked.
And then when they left, it was still like that. And then when they saw Steve, not Steve, where they saw Dave.
Dave.
They saw Dave, which was a half orc. He was into the other sex, and they loved that about him. And he was
awesome.
He was just a very nice head guard.
Yeah, Dave's cool.
And he was
He was
great.
mad.
No, this is not a town that got
This was Volon.
absolutely destroyed.
Specific names I can't remember
Yeah.
anymore.
So
Oh, Volon was our home base. We pretty much almost never left there.
So, yeah, they met him, and Alex was like, "I'm going straight to him," and I'm giving him a big hug,
Yeah.
realizing it wasn't actually him; it was someone who was taking the form of him because they knew it was comforting.
Yeah.
So they were talking, and then they're like, "We don't know what to do." And then Io shed some light on what to do, and then Io goes,
But you'll need some help.
"You'll need some help." And then they walked in as their old characters, and then the air changed. Immediately changed. It was like, "Oh, this was planned.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Blake."
Oh, the eyes
was-
turned to the
yeah,
DM
like,
in that instant.
You could feel the heat in the room as we were walking in, and you just watched everyone's expressions change, and like everything felt like you could feel everything calm down. It was insane.
It was
the,
just big-
the
yeah.
emotion in the air.
It was 100%. You weren't betraying us. You were getting rid of your old characters to come back as, like, you were getting rid of those characters to come back as your old ones.
Yeah.
The ones that everyone loved
Yeah.
and were the teammates. And I remember the power struggle that
Yeah.
happened actually, because when Delvin died, Nylia became the
The
captain. When Nylia died, Rock became the captain. So all three of them were back alive, and they're all like, "So who's the captain?"
Who's the captain now?
And
No. We all came back to life, and I think Kat was the other one saying it. It was Kat.
no,
Rock,
she had no
and
Kat
Delvin.
hadn't been the captain yet.
No, but she was like, "Wait, so who's the captain now?"
Yeah,
And I just looked down and was like, "Not me," and I walked off. I was like,
and
I
then
became the captain because Delvin died trying to save me, and I was his first mate. I did it because I had to. I don't want this shit.
and then Rock and Delvin always had that
that thing between them.
yeah, like, "Oh, you think you're the captain? That's fine."
You can
Oh.
think that all you like.
Yeah, you're the captain, sure.
Yeah, it was so funny.
There were some points where we called him captain.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite part there was that when we went to the meeting of all the pirate lords.
They both sat at the table,
Well, they both sat at the table trying to be the same captain.
representative.
And then I walked around and sat at the empty seat. I was like, yeah, that's fine. So, Jordan was in the seat, and then Rock was like trying to push him out of the seat. I just walked around, sat in the other empty seat. Jordan had sat in the white captain's seat. The empty seat was for the Copper Dragons.
Yeah.
So because I was like, fuck, I don't want to sit down. I walked around, sat in the seat, and they're like, yeah, cool. So, you're taking up that mantle now? He's like, yeah, I am the captain of the White Dragons. And they look over and like, so you're the Copper Dragon captain. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm back here again. Like, fuck, I guess.
Have you?
And then Rock's just looking at me like, I fucking hate you.
Do you want to tell Jacob about the story about Lamb Shanks?
Oh.
Like how it all became a thing?
We were in Tami. South Tami? It's South, yeah. That's actually where Nylia was a child. That's where she grew up. And so we had to infiltrate the kingdom and the castle because one of the bad guys, someone in leagues with Grazit, was king. So we were like, we're gonna go and assassinate the king, and then like let them sort themselves out, because once Grazit doesn't control the place, like it's fine. So I had magical armor that could change at will.
Oh,
So we're like sneaking in and sneaking in, and then we hear people coming. So the rest of them run into a room. I'm over the other side of the hallway. I'm like, yeah, I don't have time. I'd already seen guards. Oh, no. I like back to the wall and like peered around, like saw they were guards, saw their outfit. I'm like, yeah, cool, I'm gonna wear that. He's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, cool, I'm gonna stand against the wall. No. Okay. So they come past. It's all part of it. They come past, like, we don't know you, because I was a tiefling. So they started, like, obviously doing the whole, you're not worthy of being a guard here, rah, 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 we don't believe you, blah, blah, blah. And then the guard captain in the room that I'm standing outside of, which happens to be the break room, walks out after hearing a commotion. He's like, oi, what the fuck? You don't talk to your fellow guard like that. Send them off on a second round because they were meant to come into the break room and send out two other people to do a round. And then invited me into the break room. He's like, well, you get to come off duty then. So we sit down in this break room, and
By the way, during this point, everyone's like, "Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
like what? Yeah, they're like, what the fuck's happened with that?
Come to the
Holy
break
shit,
room while
we need
you're
to,
on the
we're
guards.
trying to do this fucking mission. I think they got into a confrontation with someone in the library because that's what the room they'd end up in was. And I'm just like having a great old time with these fucking guards. And they, there's like food brought out. There's just this fucking tray of lamb shanks. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go hard on that shit. So like, pick one up. I'm like, yeah, I'm just fucking tear into it. He's like, everyone sees you tear into it. You're the first one to pick one up. They cheer and they start like You know,
Cheering
cheering
on.
on. I'm like, all right,
yeah.
cool. I finish that one. I grab another one. Tear through it, tear through it, tear through it. Another one, another one, another one. He's like, all right, I'm gonna need you to make Constitution saving throws because you're like eating so fast. Fucking like, passed it with flying colors. Another one, another one, another one. He's like, yeah, I need another check. Yeah, check. Passed it, passed it. He kept having me do it. He's like, yeah, you're like
Devouring his.
devouring.
And they just
These
kept,
things. And they
like,
just kept chanting.
chanting.
They kept going.
Oh,
and
and
it
they
started like a full-on chant.
Yeah, and they're like,
I like
Shame.
finished the plate. Finished the plate, and so I was just known among the guards as Lampshade.
That's amazing.
I am currently immortalized in that castle as Lampshade.
He's gone to that barrel nowhere. They just destroyed Lampshade.
Literally.
Nothing.
And it was like, before you even thought about going back to Formir and fixing up Bolin and stuff,
Yeah,
you're like, I think I could actually just live as one of these guards.
yeah.
Because they all just never questioned.
They never questioned me. I was like, fuck, this is so nice.
Yeah,
Like, they
you were just
accepted
having
me.
a general, like, nice time.
Yeah,
Where you're just like, I'm just a
I'm
simple
just-
guard
I'm a
for,
person.
for
Yeah.
like 10 minutes.
Yeah. It
And-
was so good.
And then just because of that, they're like, they were also like, okay, well, I know I just pulled you off duty, but everyone seems to like you, seem to be like really likable, and this is like your first day.
Yeah,
So I'm going to give you an opportunity to prove yourself. I want you to go to
that's right. And that's how I got
next
into
door,
the
the
king.
Kings.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Oh, opportunity.
everyone else is like, you're going to get in there. And then Jacob's like, I'm going to just walk in, and the best thing is that I don't have to pretend I'm a guard then and there.
Because I am a guy.
Because right now,
I
they all
am
believe I am just
Yeah.
one right now. And I don't need to keep faking, like, keep pretending out of my ass. They just believe it.
Yeah.
It's mad.
Now I can just act like myself, and I'm just a guard here.
That's good.
That's how I got in. And then we were all expected to be this massive fight. I got left with the king alone for like, what, 20 minutes game time?
It was literally just you.
And it was just me. And he kept like kind of going, all right, you can go now. And I just like keep up the conversation. And so, you got like more questions or like more to talk about. So you just keep talking to me.
Stop.
And he's sitting there going, you can just fucking kill me now. I'm like,
In my head,
this is going to be
I'm
a
like-
massive fucking fight.
In my head, I'm like, he has no idea
Yeah.
that he can just do literally an Eldritch Blast with his minimum damage, kills him.
Yeah. And then Kat and Jordan ended up getting in there. And then Kat, with one swing of a whip, kills him.
And
Like, as we're like, okay, cool, this is when we're going to do it because we've got everyone in here now. And it's just one hit, he's dead. I'm like,
and you had to like
oh.
run. You had to like run.
Yeah. But none of the guards saw me as well, like, after the fact. So I kind of just got off scot-free and I could just return as a guard.
You just case to go back and
That was the original plan. I was just going to go back
Chill.
and just be a guard to me. I was going to rebuild Bolin with the money that I had. And I was just going to kind of like oversee it. I was going to like pay for it and be like, I don't care what it costs, rebuild Bolin. Rebuild what was there and then some. And then I was just going to be a guard and to me.
just chill.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh.
Then he became a god.
And then I became
Then
a
I became
god
a
instead. I fused with Imrith. I was like, this has to happen.
Just occasionally, like, just a spectre there. It's just
Yeah,
a ghost.
To all of my guard friends into me, I'm sorry, I'm not coming back.
The Legend of Flameshank. He was there for a day.
She was there for a day, yeah. Oh,
That's awesome.
alright. It's 12:30. I think it's about time that we cut this, because otherwise we're going to just keep going. And
It will
we
never
have
end.
next Monday to continue.
Ah,
So, thank you everyone that came. Thanks to everyone that stayed. We stream Mondays 8:30 for the Technical Difficulties podcast, and Wednesday and Friday 8:30 for our D&D sessions.
Today was a special exception, of course.
It was. We had some unforeseen circumstances, and we just didn't want to kind of leave it without anything for you guys. So, special podcast episode. We'll get back to regular D&D next Friday. Wednesday is going to be Jordan from the Wednesday group, who plays Magnus, running a game of the Sea of Thieves. What would you call it? Role-playing game?
Yeah.
First game? Yeah. It is technically an RPG.
Of course.
Yeah, so he's going to be running that for us as a one-shot until we get back to Friday, so we can continue the one-to-one sessions. And yeah, look, I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and I hope you enjoy Wednesday. It is a lot of fun. It's very frustrating to play, and so it's going to be great fun for everyone to watch us all just hate ourselves. But yeah,
Yeah, we'll see you next Friday.
thank you very much.
We fight a troll.
Bye.
Bye.